Imagine a world where humans and soul pets live together, thriving as masters and their summoned beast companions. Thunder and wind howl across Nightmare Island. Inside a cold facility, 100 terrified children huddle together in tattered clothes, crying for help. Their captors, adults in strange religious robes, begin drawing glowing magic circles right on the cold floor. One boy named Yuki stands out, appearing completely fearless. He knows they are just test subjects for a 10th combat experiment. Suddenly, a massive wolf monster leaps from a magic circle. Yuki explains that these cruel tests are designed specifically to force the evil soul pet energy inside them to grow and take over. If a child does not grow faster than the dark soul pet inside them, the beast will eventually devour them whole. It doesn't matter if they are killed or eaten, either way it is over. Yuki swears he will survive no matter the cost. Meanwhile, the leader, Deacon Carl, stands high above on a platform, announcing that today's nightmare is just a simple fitness test. He cold-bloodedly announces that only 50 children will move on. That means half of them are dying today. He tells them to embrace the sweetness of death like it is some kind of honor. Suddenly, the hunting wolf charges, biting the arm off one poor kid. Total panic erupts. Children are screaming and running for their lives as the nightmare begins. Meanwhile, the hunters watch with sick smiles. Yuki keeps his head, analyzing the situation while he runs. He looks closely at the hunting wolf's fierce appearance. He realizes it has already reached the 8th stage. Fighting it directly is suicide. Their only hope is to avoid it until 50 kids are left standing. Those robed men just laugh as they watch the children run and get slaughtered like animals. Yuki spots a kid named Sean who is strangely standing his ground instead of running. Yuki screams a warning that the monster is already right behind him. With a twisted grin, Sean suddenly grabs Yuki's arm tight. He throws Yuki directly toward the gaping jaws of the hungry beast. Yuki kicks off the wolf's snout, barely dodging the snapping teeth before scrambling away into the shadows once more. He sees he can't outrun it, so he quickly ducks. He dives, but those sharp claws still tear into his back. The stinging pain is intense, and the smell of blood only makes the wolf hungrier. It charges again, slamming him down and pinning him hard against the dirt floor. Pinned down, Yuki struggles desperately to push the monster's head away from his face. Suddenly, Carl announces the test is over, causing the wolf to retreat away from Yuki. There are 50 survivors left for now. Tomorrow their task is to roam the island, capture a creature, and sign a powerful soul pact to use in the next battle. The exhausted children limp away to lick their wounds. Meanwhile, Yuki tries to stand, but his body gives out and he collapses from total exhaustion. The next morning, Carl heads to the castle. A servant informs him that their leader, Shin, wants to see him. Carl enters the office and bows deeply before his master. Shin asks if the boy, Yuki, is dead yet. Carl answers that he is still breathing, at least for now. Shin is surprised. He didn't think the boy could survive that white nightmare evil soul he forced into him. Carl asks with a cold, murderous glare if he should just finish the boy off himself. Shin orders Carl to leave him alone for the time being. He wants to see Yuki nurture the white nightmare inside and see how long he lasts. The other children find Yuki unconscious on the ground, bleeding. They are sure he won't last much longer. Suddenly, Sean shows up and dumps water on his head, forcing Yuki to wake up gasping. Sean taunts him, acting like nothing ever happened between them. This makes Yuki grit his teeth. Sean tells him to stop looking at him with those eyes. He slams Yuki's head back down, telling him to worry about the nightmare inside him instead of holding a grudge. The bully laughs, predicting Yuki will soon die from either his internal nightmare or the wolf's claws. Secretly, Yuki is burning for a chance to get revenge. Despite his fury, Yuki is too weak and passes out cold again. He wakes up later in his camp bed with bandages wrapped around his injuries. His roommate Tina sees that he is finally awake. Yuki is relieved she survived. Tina angrily snaps that he should be glad she is here, since she is the only one who bothered to help with his wounds. Yuki thanks her, admitting that he feels a lot better now. Tina reminds him that he owes her big time for saving his life. After he thanks her, she reminds him that he needs to pay her back soon. She then reports that he has been unconscious for 3 full days. Even though he is not fully healed, Yuki stands up to grab his clothes and prepare for the soul pet battle. Tina offers to go with him, but Yuki quickly shuts her down. Yuki argues they have to split up since they can't share one good soul pet. He even warns her not to trust him. Yuki leaves the cabin, leaving Tina furious about the rejection. He treks through the forest, narrowly dodging wild beasts along the way. He's headed for the heart of the island, where the most powerful soul pets are rumored to hide. He hits a dense patch of vines when suddenly one snags him and yanks him deep inside. He is in the territory of the strongest soul pets. Sharp spikes cut into his skin while he's being dragged through the field. Right at the center sits the thorn demon, which is a deadly vine-type soul beast. Yuki slices through the vine, grabbing his leg, and quickly backs away from the thorn demon. The creature tries to whip him with its long vine arm, but he narrowly dodges the strike. Yuki's just relieved the monster's wild attack actually cleared a path through the thick vine field. He bolts away, but in his haste, he doesn't realize he's running straight toward the edge of a cliff. He falls, but luckily a sturdy tree branch snags his shirt just before he can hit the ground. Hanging off the cliff, he thinks he's safe until the branch snaps. Suddenly, he's plummeting toward the earth head first. Yuki senses a wild beast lurking nearby and hides behind a tree, clutching his dagger and ready for action. He's totally relieved to see it is only a tiny little red cloud fox. With his dagger ready, he's just glad it's a red cloud fox. Yuki shoos the little creature away and moves on. He grumbles that a fox isn't exactly the loyal battle pet he's looking for. Later, Yuki climbs a tree to scout the forest. He spots a soul pet called a mandrill drinking at a lake and thinks about taming it. Some kid approaches the beast and tries to make a pact, but the mandrill just starts chasing him instead. Yuki rolls his eyes, thinking the kid's a total idiot for enraging the beast. Yuki builds a cage out of sticks and hangs it from a tree to serve as a trap. He drops a soul core fragment inside as bait since most soul pets can't resist them. He waits for half a day, but not a single pet or person shows up. A green worm drops right on him and he feeds it some bread and decides to keep it for later. After feeding the little green worm some bread, Yuki spots something moving. He gets excited, thinking a real soul pet is finally coming. It turns out to be that same red cloud fox from before, so he doesn't spring the trap. Fast forward 2 days later. Now it's a blue star fox, a similar species, that shows up to sniff around the bait. 4 days pass and another fox takes the bait. 7 days in, and a green fox wanders by. Yuki is fuming that nothing but foxes are showing up. Then, 10 days later. 10 days in, he sees yet another different colored fox arrive. This time he drops the cage, but the fox dodges it effortlessly. Yuki's furious and starts chasing the animal. Suddenly, the worm on his shoulder spits out a rope of silk that wraps around the fox's legs, completely immobilizing it. Yuki praises the little worm, glad he decided to keep it around. Yuki grabs the tiny fox and declares he's having it for dinner tonight. He's glad he kept the worm. Yuki grabs the fox and yells that he's eating it for dinner. Then, he spots a crescent moon symbol on its head and gets curious. He realizes that every single fox he's seen so far had that exact same symbol. He wonders how different species could have the same mark. Then he recalls reading a book about soul pets, and how rare ones can go through special mutations to become stronger species. He suddenly realizes this fox is actually the very same one he saw at the beginning. All along, just mutating several times in a few days. Yuki's hyped because a pet with continuous mutations has unlimited potential. He activates a magic circle to make a pact. But the fox hits the glowing ring and breaks the attempt. Frustrated, Yuki opens a new circle and swears he'll make this fox his soul pet. It takes forever, and he ends up completely exhausted from all the failed pact attempts. The fox's silk bindings finally snap, so Yuki takes off after the tiny animal. He chases it late into the night, leading him right back into the thorn demon's dangerous territory. The fox gets tossed into the thick vine fields. The thorn demon lashes out at Yuki and the fox, but they both manage to dodge. The demon leaves its territory and starts hurling heavy rocks right at them. It's about to snag the fox with its vines, but Yuki sees it coming and grabs the fox first. The move knocks him off balance and they roll onto the cold ground. This leaves them wide open. The demon grabs them both, lifting them high and shaking them violently while they dangle in the air. Yuki tells the fox it's just a week to survive on this island alone. He offers to make it the strongest creature in the world if it agrees to a pact. To survive the island, he offers to make it the most powerful creature in the world through their pact. He opens the magic circle one more time and asks the fox to accept. The fox shuts its eyes, placing a paw down to finalize their soul pact. A massive power boost lets the fox rip itself away from those choking vines immediately. Meanwhile, Yuki is being pulled straight toward the demon's massive hungry maw. The boy spots a weak point. The monster's soul core is hidden inside the roof of its mouth. The fox bolts toward the monster's open jaws at blinding lightning speed. It claws the core right out of its throat. The monster collapses, knocked out completely cold. Atop the corpse, the fox howls at the bright, full moon. Yuki reaches down and grabs the fallen thorn demon's soul core. He tosses the core for the fox to eat, but another boy snatches it midair. This kid, Jong, has a giant centipede soul pet and tells Yuki the core belongs to him now. Jong sneers that a weak fox could never beat a thorn demon, so the core can't be Yuki's. Yuki notices Jong is already holding another beast-type soul core in his other hand. Yuki tells him he doesn't even want that thorn demon core anymore. Instead, he challenges Jong to a duel in 2 days with their cores on the line. Jong asks what's stopping him from just killing Yuki and taking everything right now. Yuki warns him that Carl forbids any fighting outside of official duels. Do you really want to disobey? Jong backs off, but he promises to end Yuki's life when they duel in 2 days. Back at camp, Yuki shows off his new Moonlight Fox to Tina. The girl is curious and asks what name he'll give his new pet. Yuki thinks for a second and decides to call the fox Moxie. The fox's mood brightens, so Tina knows it loves the name. But after reading up, she sees these foxes are considered very weak soul pets. Tina asks if he's really sure about using a fox against Jong's massive centipede. She doubts those claws can even scratch the centipede's thick, fleshy armor. Yuki isn't stressed at all. He's confident he can make Moxie much stronger within the next 48 hours. Tina blushes, shyly asking if he wants her to help him train. She looks over and sees Yuki is already fast asleep, so she gets no answer. Tina worries Yuki is being reckless by choosing a weak soul pet. But she can't help noticing how cute Moxie looks the next morning. Yuki and Moxie walk into the woods and stop at a big tree. Yuki tells Moxie to start clawing it to boost its overall attack power. Moxie attacks the trunk but only leaves some light surface scratches. A disappointed Yuki tells his pet to just keep going. The fox scratches the wood over and over, but the marks stay shallow. It stops once it gets a nasty splinter stuck under its paw. Yuki marks a cross on the tree and tells Moxie to keep striking it until it snaps. The little fox keeps hitting it even though its paws are starting to really hurt. By sunset, the top half of the tree finally crashes down. Yuki praises Moxie's hard work and sends it back to the soul pet space to recover faster. It's basically a place inside a master where pets heal up. Yuki wonders if he can find good medicinal herbs on the mountain. Later, he heads back to his camp and starts grinding up his findings. He tells Tina the marks on his wrists are just injuries from gathering the herbs. He explains the dark blue herb is a miracle cure. It will help Moxie's broken claws regrow even sharper than before. He's sure Moxie is about to get a lot stronger. A day later, Moxie has fully recovered. The little fox swipes at the ground, leaving deep, sharp gouges in the dirt. Yuki lifts his pet up, celebrating that its claws have finally reached the late-stage level. Tina tells Yuki that Jong is already outside waiting for their big duel. Yuki feels ready to win and claim that title. A deacon and a crowd of kids have gathered for the big fight. Jong is there waiting, but Yuki is nowhere to be seen. The crowd starts to get restless. Many of the children assume he got scared and chickened out. Jong's buddy Sora wonders if Yuki is going to show up. Jang promises a win as long as that kid actually comes. Yuki arrives with Tina, who warns him about Jang's friend Sora. He has a high-ranked soul pet, a scaled snake. The deacon announces that the duel is about to start. The deacon announces that the duel is starting. Both fighters summon their individual soul pets from their soul planes, including the high-ranked scaled snake, to face off. The centipede swings its tail, but Moxie dodges it. She uses her speed to circle the monster, scratching at its heavy armor with her claws. Jong orders his insect soul pet to dig deep underground now. After scratching the armor, Jong orders his pet to dig underground. It leaves a hole behind, and Tina tells Yuki to run since the centipede is strongest when rising. Yuki ignores her warning, which really annoys the girl. Yuki closes his eyes, focusing his soul power perception. He can sense exactly where the centipede is burrowing. It is already right under Moxie. He quickly orders Moxie to jump out of the way. Just as he predicted, the centipede rises near Moxie. Moxie climbs the monster like a tower and strikes its chest with her claws. John warns Yuki it is no use because the centipede's thick flesh armor is way too strong to break. He orders his centipede to kill the little fox. Instead, his pet dies from that chest wound. The little fox cheers for her victory. John is in denial and he is absolutely livid. He pulls out a dagger and sprints toward Yuki to kill him. Tina screams as Zhang charges at the boy. He is about to strike, but Moxie jumps in and claws the blade right out of his hand. This leaves John with a nasty wound on his arm. Yuki warns John that he will die if he steps closer. After receiving that warning, John grinds his teeth in rage. He finally gives in and hands over the valuable soul cores Yuki won from the battle. Yuki tries to leave, but Sora stops him. He summons his scaled serpent right in front of the deacon, looking for a fight. Yuki worries they cannot face a fourth-stage scaled serpent. The beast is about to attack them. Suddenly, the other kids scream that something is happening to Jong. Jong falls to his knees in agonizing pain. Sora runs to help him, but a powerful wind blasts him away. A swirling vortex of air now completely surrounds Jong. Out of the wind comes a truly evil soul pet. This evil soul pet puts Jong in chains and grabs him by the neck. Everyone watches as the boy's actual life force exits through his mouth. The other kids recognize the creature as a nightmare. Everyone watches on in total horror. The deacon explains that Jong's soul power is the problem. His power was not enough to feed the nightmare, so it devoured its host's soul instead. The nightmare flies away from Zhang, leaving him completely drained of all his energy. The nightmare roars, threatening everyone. The kids panic, thinking they are all about to die. The deacon steps forward and casts an enchantment. It sucks the nightmare inside a golden plate that has a magic circle inscribed on it. The monster disappears as if nothing even happened. The deacon dismisses everyone and bans any more duels until the final test arrives. A furious Sora screams Yuki's name and swears he will avenge Jong when that day comes. Yuki calmly tells him they will just see who dies first. A few weeks later, Moxie is strong enough to easily beat Tina's thorny flower soul pet in training. Yuki explains that Moxie's insane agility makes her a bad match for the flower demon. Tina claims her thorny flower is so tough that almost nobody can take it down. Yuki then asks Tina who could possibly be strong enough to beat her flower. Tina is annoyed that Yuki knows nothing about his strongest rivals or who can actually defeat her. Thorny flower. She explains that only for kids have soul pets tough enough to take down her thorny flower. That list includes Sora's scaled serpent and Sean's lethal hunting wolf. Yuki remembers Sean as the kid who threw him to a hunting wolf and swears he will get revenge. Tina sees him lost in thought and snaps him back to reality. She props him up, saying he's officially one of the island's strongest and basically a lock to pass. Yuki tells her he's heading to the inner island to hunt for some medicinal herbs. Tina gets annoyed again because he just bails without even saying thanks for the compliment she gave him. As Yuki treks through the woods, Wormy pops out of his coat. Yuki asks if he's hungry, but the worm just scoots to his hand and forces his finger to point at something close by. Two of Sean's lackeys walk past, whining about being forced to patrol the area. Still, they're glad Sean's strong enough to control 3 soul pets now, since it means nobody's going to mess with them while they're on his team. They're hyped because their boss promised they'd finish in the top 10 survivors, while also dealing some serious damage to all the other kids on the island. Yuki hides in the shadows, watching the two of them closely. He remembers that anyone who can bond with 3 soul pets is ranked among the elite soul pet masters. He knows he can't let Sean get that 3rd pet or he'll be impossible to beat. Yuki creeps through the bushes, tailing the 2 kids until Moxie suddenly strikes, taking one of them out in the blink of an eye. Yuki suddenly appears right in front of the remaining kid. After seeing his buddy die, the lone survivor panics. He quickly summons his rock monster soul pet and gets ready for a desperate fight against Yuki. He lets it attack Yuki while he tries to bolt. Wormy sees him trying to scream for Sean, but Wormy gums up his mouth with silk webbing. Yuki tells Moxie to finish the job while the kid's struggling. The kid tries to command his rock monster, but it's useless since he can't even talk. Moxie takes the kid out, leaving the rock monster standing there totally lost. It just walks away from its dead master, not caring about revenge one bit. Yuki laughs at the dead kid because his own soul pet didn't even give a damn. Yuki asks Wormy if he can scout out what the other kids are up to. Wormy hops across the bushes until he finds the spot where Sean and his crew are. Sean senses someone is watching them, so he reacts. He tells one of his guys to go check on the others and finish them off. Sean and his right-hand man Tim summon their beast-type soul pets to trap a rare fire tail. Sean tells Tim to keep the creature busy with his steel fang while he uses his hunting wolf to deliver the final blow. Deep down, Tim's pretty bitter that his boss is making him do all the heavy lifting. The steel fang holds the prey right where it needs to be. While it's distracted, Sean sends his hunting wolf in to strike the fire tail. The wolf towers over its fallen prey while Tim watches. Tim wonders why Chen hasn't made it back yet. Sean tells him not to sweat it since Chen is the 3rd strongest fighter in their group. A shadow draws near and Tim figures it's just Chen returning. Both of them are stunned to see Yuki standing there with a cocky grin. Tim is shaking, terrified that Yuki wiped out Chen and the rest. Sean, though, seems happy they're dead since he doesn't have to look out for them anymore. Sean tells Tim to take Yuki out, but Tim says his steel fang is totally drained from that last fight. Sean whispers a promise if he kills Yuki and that fox right now, he'll make sure Tim gets a 3rd soul pet when he's ready. Deep down, Tim knows his boss is just playing him for a fool. Yuki's fox and Tim's steel fang lunge at each other. The agile Moxie and the beast trade brutal slashes. Yuki notices Moxie is taking some hits and starting to fall behind in the fight. He commands his pet to use its charm ability on the beast. Moxie shuts its eyes to focus. Sean is totally confident the move will fail since that steel fang is already at the 8th stage level. The steel fang rushes Moxie while she's busy concentrating. Yuki's focused too. He snaps his eyes open, making Sean feel like something's gone wrong. He yells at Tim to make his soul pet shut its eyes immediately. But it is far too late. Yuki's gaze has already locked the soul pet into a deep hypnotic trance, and the creature is now totally wide open to an attack. Moxie slashes at the paralyzed fang, killing it on the spot. Yuki hurls his dagger right into Tim's forehead, taking him out too. Sean realizes Yuki has reached spirit soldier level. This means he can now use his own soul techniques by burning through his own soul energy. Instead of using his soul pet, Sean just kicks Tim's body away, whining about how useless the guy was. Being a snake, Sean assumes Yuki's fox is tapped out and suggests they team up instead of fighting. Yuki rejects the offer, telling Sean that only death is waiting for him now. Sean grins as he summons his hunting wolf. Seeing the steel fang's corpse actually buffs the wolf, making it way stronger. Sean looks like a psycho as he orders his wolf to kill. Moxie and the hunting wolf lock eyes, just staring each other down. The second the fight starts, the hunter sends Moxie flying with one massive paw strike. It follows up with a barrage of hits, really putting the hurt on the little fox. Sean mocks Yuki, saying his fox stands zero chance if it can't even land a hit on the wolf. Yuki wants to use a soul technique, but he is completely out of energy. He tells Moxie to hide in the bushes for the time being. Sean just laughs, calling the fox completely and utterly useless. Then, Moxie catches him off guard, dropping from the trees to launch a direct attack. The hunting wolf intercepts Moxie before it can even get close to its master. Attacking from the trees, the hunting wolf jumps in to save Sean before Moxie can reach him. However, Moxie still manages to wound the wolf during the clash. Sean can't believe the fox actually managed to wound his wolf. But he just smiles, knowing that the pain is only going to make his beast even fiercer. The furious hunting wolf charges straight at Moxie. The angry wolf rushes Moxie, but to Sean's total surprise, it's the fox that lands the hit. He beats himself up for forgetting that the fox has the unique ability to hide its true form and power. Yuki tells Moxie to drop the act, stop looking so pitiful, and finally show them its true form. Moxie's body shifts, transforming into a much larger, adult version of a wolf. Sean is floored that Yuki managed to train the beast to its 9th stage in such a short time. Even so, the arrogant kid still thinks the fox is no match for his hunting wolf. Even with the fox's quick growth, Sean still thinks he's got the edge and orders his soul pet to go into its berserk mode. The hunting wolf's red aura makes it even stronger as it strikes at Moxie. The fox barely evades, but then the wolf sets its sights on Yuki. It makes the boy nervous as the beast lunges and pins him to the ground. Yuki looks up at the crescent moon and orders Moxie to tap into the power of the moonlight essence. Moxie strikes the wolf, beheading it in a single instant. Sean is stunned that Moxie can already buff all its stats just by using the moon's power. Sean retreats in pure terror while Yuki smiles, ordering Moxie to finish him off. With the deed done, Moxie licks its master just like a happy dog. Yuki returns the fox to the soul plane so it can finally rest up. Suddenly, Yuki starts feeling some serious, agonizing pain. The pain only gets worse as his evil soul pet, the White Nightmare, starts emerging from him. The terrifying White Nightmare wraps its hands tightly around Yuki's neck. Yuki tries to meditate to calm himself down, but the pain persists. The nightmare's grip only gets tighter as its howls grow even louder. Yuki snaps at it to shut up so he can concentrate on giving it more soul energy. This just pisses off the nightmare, making Yuki suffer even more. The boy tells himself over and over again that he simply cannot die. The kid wakes up the next morning totally surprised that he's actually still alive. He returns to camp feeling glad he secured the Firetail's soul crystal. He can't wait for Moxie to absorb the crystal and level up. The other kids are weirded out seeing Yuki literally skipping as he walks. Meanwhile at the castle, a deacon tells a shocked Carl that Sean and his friends were found dead. Carl jumps up from his table totally shocked and frustrated. He has no idea how to explain this mess to Lord Shin. Carl demands to know if they found any clues or evidence. The servants report that Yuki never came back last night with that weak soul pet. A servant thinks outsiders must have snuck onto the island and killed them. Carl orders everyone to round up the kids at the meeting hall immediately. Carl tells the group the exam is pushed to tomorrow because of the island intruders. Yuki hates hearing that one extra day is not enough for Moxie to recover. The island has been breached and Yuki is frustrated since Moxie needs way more time to recover. Carl smiles and tells everyone to head back to their rooms until suddenly, Yuki gets shoved hard and slams right onto the floor. He looks up to see Sora standing there. Sora threatens to kill Yuki tomorrow if they get matched up. The next day rolls around and the exam finally begins. Carl explains they will fight one-on-one until only 10 of them are left. Carl pulls a name from the box and announces Sora will be fighting first. Duels will continue until only 10 remain. Carl pulls a name from the box and announces that Sora will fight first. The other kids start panicking about being matched with him. Meanwhile, Sora is glaring at Yuki. They stare each other down while Carl reaches for another name to find Sora's opponent. Carl announces a boy named Paul will be the opponent facing off against Sora. Paul is absolutely terrified, he is scared out of his mind. He suddenly bolts, screaming at the top of his lungs that he does not want to die. Carl summons his high-level hunting wolf, the beast is absolutely massive. The wolf chases the running kid down and kills him right there. Carl warns the other children they will suffer the same fate if they try to run. The kids stand in silence, completely frozen by the thought. Carl announces that Sora is the winner by default. Sora shoves Yuki as he walks past, telling him he is lucky they didn't have to fight. The kids battle it out, anyone who survives their duel but loses is sentenced to death by wolves. Carl announces Yuki and Hong are up next. Hong apologizes to Tina because she is about to kill her roommate. Though Tina worries that Hong is the one who will die. Hong enters the arena and tells Yuki he is lucky his weak Moonlight Fox even lasted this long. Yuki cringes at the remark. Hong tells Yuki not to blame her for doing whatever it takes to survive. Right as Hong is about to summon her soul pet, Hong tells him not to blame her for what she must do to survive. But just as she begins to summon her soul pet, Yuki drives a dagger into her neck. She goes down so fast that the other kids are left shocked and terrified. He drives a dagger into her neck and she drops instantly. While the other kids are paralyzed with fear, the deacons ask Carl what they should do now. Carl claps his hands, praising Yuki for striking without hesitation while his opponent was wide open. But he warns Yuki that his little trick won't work again. Yuki's cold behavior really intimidates the other kids, but secretly, Yuki is just relieved he bought Moxie enough time to recover. Even Tina thinks her roommate is the scariest person in the room. The next day arrives and the duels continue on. Tina is terrified of her own roommate. As the duels roll into the next day, everyone is anxious to see who is up next. Yuki is worried because Moxie has only recovered about half of its strength since yesterday. Carl announces that today they will finally reveal the top 10 who get to leave this island alive. Yuki and Jason are called up to duel. Tina is convinced that Jason is going to lose. She has so much faith in Yuki that her friend Suzu thinks she might actually have a crush on him. Jason summons his soul pet Mandy, while Yuki brings out Moxie. Tina watches closely. Looks like Moxie is still hurting from before. She tells Suzu that Yuki's gonna win. Mandy attacks but Moxie's too fast, every strike just hits thin air while the fox dances away. The crowd's stunned by how agile the Moonlight Fox is. Mandy is getting dizzy just trying to track its movement. Jason's losing it because his pet is just standing there. Moxie stays put and uses a charm ability on Mandy. Mandy falls into a deep trance. Jason screams at his pet to wake up, but Moxie strikes first, finishing it. Jason's paralyzed with shock as the deacons drag him away to his end. Carl claps. He reminds everyone that 11 kids are left but only 10 of them get to live. Sora raises his hand. He volunteers to fight Yuki since his last opponent didn't even show up. Sora grins, thinking the Moonlight Fox is at its absolute weakest right now. Carl asks Yuki for his thoughts without missing a beat. Yuki says he's happy to grant Sora's wish to die. Carl loves the attitude and agrees to host the duel. He'll grant that death wish. Carl is totally entertained and greenlights the fight. He calls for the battle to begin while Yuki and Sora stare each other down. Sora summons a scaled serpent while Yuki brings out Moxie. The massive snake lunges but Moxie slips away. It tries to coil around the fox but Moxie evades again. The serpent swings its sharp tail but still Moxie dodges. Moxie keeps dodging as the monsters reach a standstill. Then Sora orders his serpent to use poison splash, spitting deadly venom. Both Yuki and Moxie dive out of the way. They dodge the poison splash, but a few drops of venom catch Moxie's tail. It leaves a nasty wound on the fox. The snake strikes while the fox is hurting. Venom burns Moxie's tail as the snake strikes again. The fox manages to avoid it and slashes the serpent's belly before retreating to Yuki's arms. Moxie's claws are chipped and broken from the tough scales. Sora brags about how thick his pet's skin is. Sora orders his snake to hurry up and end this duel. Sora brags about that tough skin and orders his snake to finish the job. The scaled serpent activates Vicious Devourer, coating its entire body in toxic venom. The crowd is horrified, they realize any opponent will die just by touching that poisonous snake. Tina screams for Yuki to run away. Yuki stays cool and tells Moxie it's time to show off their new skills. Moxie hops back down and gives its master a quick smile. The little fox charges forward, using a moon shadow technique to create a perfect double of itself. Sora thinks using clones to dodge his snake's attacks is a total waste of time. The fox runs straight at the massive snake without fear. Tina and the other kids are absolutely terrified. Moxie charges the snake head on while the kids watch in terror. Yuki just says he doesn't need to dodge a thing. Moxie lets the shadow double vanish and charges in. The snake opens wide and swallows the fox whole. Sora orders the serpent to go after Yuki next. The snake swallows the fox, but Sora's victory is short-lived. In a flash, Moxie rips the snake's back open to escape. The little fox lets out a howl while standing on top of the giant snake's corpse. The deacons and the kids are all shocked by the upset. Yuki grins and orders Moxie to finish off Sora. Moxie reaches Sora before he can even speak, one quick slash to the chest and he's gone. Carl congratulates Yuki, he finally realizes the kid has been hiding the Moonlight Fox's true form. This whole time. Carl sizes up the fox's power, it must be at the 9th stage by now. He asks Yuki in a threatening voice if he killed Sean and the others. The deacon places mental restraints on the young boy. Yuki feels a surge of agony, Carl demands a confession, but the boy swears it wasn't him. Yuki cries out and insists he's telling the truth. Meanwhile, Moxie is in the Soul Plane, desperate to get out and attack Carl. Carl tries to keep his cool, but he is itching to attack, but the other deacons warn him. If he kills one of the 10 kids, Lord Shin will hold him responsible. Carl imagines Shin's punishment and decides to back off, leaving Yuki alone for now. The deacon thinks Carl hates Yuki because he is terrified the kid will eventually outshine him. Especially since Yuki raised a white nightmare and actually survived, they believe Shin will protect Yuki and eventually promote him to a higher rank than Carl. Now the two deacons plan to shield Yuki from Carl's anger and report Carl to Shin for a promotion. Both of them are thrilled by the idea. Later that night, under the bright moonlight, Yuki holds a beast attribute soul stone in one hand and a fire attribute stone in the other. He believes these two stones will seriously boost Moxie's combat power. He is sure Moxie will one day evolve into a powerful 9-tailed demon fox form. The Moonlight Fox absorbs the stone, causing its entire body to glow like bright fire. Sharp red tattoos appear across its body. Yuki praises his pet for reaching its 2nd stage. Yuki suddenly senses that someone is watching them. A creature flies up from the trees, revealing itself to be a bat-type soul pet. The bat howls and the sound waves hit Moxie hard. A crater forms where the fox stands. Moxie just glares at the bat. With a single look, the bat is instantly engulfed in flames. The night creature falls to the ground and turns to dust. Yuki is hyped that Moxie finally has a fire attack and pets the fox. He lifts his pet high, cheering for its success. The next morning, the deacon leads the 10 kids to a ship. He tells the group they are heading straight to Green Nightmare Island. The kids celebrate as the ship departs, but Yuki is struggling. He gets majorly seasick and starts barfing. The deacons warn the kids to stay away from the railings. They do not want to attract ferocious sea pets that might decide to attack the ship. A shark soul pet suddenly leaps from the water, forcing Yuki to push Tina aside. The shark tears into the ship. Carl tells the kids to get inside. The shark lunges from the water to attack him, but Carl dodges. Even so, he gets snatched and dragged deep into the water. The other deacons worry that he might not return. After he is dragged under, the deacons fear the worst. Suddenly, Carl rises from the sea, standing atop a massive tower of swirling water. He leaps back onto the ship and commands his water spirit to kill every last shark. His soul pet, the water spirit, blasts the sharks with high-pressure water, killing dozens. Carl refuses to let any escape, ordering his pet to create a massive ice wall that blocks their path. The water soul pet tracks down the remaining sharks and slays them all. The other deacons praise Lord Carl for how powerful his water spirit has actually become. The kids cheer for their safety. But Yuki sees Carl's true power and realizes he cannot defeat the deacon just yet. The voyage continues and Yuki is absolutely done with this miserable seasickness. He knows he can't win yet as the voyage drags on and Yuki suffers. One of the kids finally spots Green Nightmare Island up ahead. They land and explore. Women in the streets try to flirt with Carl and invite him away. Carl is so distracted that he orders a deacon named Zim to take over while he is busy. Zim leads the children through the streets. He tells them they are heading to the Nightmare Palace for duels against other branches of their cult. He encourages the kids to prove their worth to earn bigger rewards. Zim shows them to the cabin where they will stay. He gives every child 1 gold coin for their basic supplies. Yuki thinks about using the money to buy special herbs for Moxie. Yuki wanders through the busy streets and gets lost. While lost, he catches a scent and enters the shop it is coming from. He asks the elderly shop owner if they have any heavenly blue grass in stock. The old man says he has it and offers 1 plant for 2 gold coins. Yuki shows him he only has 1 gold coin left. The old man instantly dismisses him as some broke, unworthy kid. The old salesman tells him to get lost if he is broke. But then Yuki pulls out soul cores and asks for their market value. The salesman can tell right away these soul cores didn't come from any local pets. He tells the kid that 3 soul cores are worth 1 silver and 5 copper coins. The old man promises to give him a fair price for his haul. Hope flickers in Yuki's eyes as he asks where he can hunt more soul cores. He is totally fired up as he gets ready to leave the shop and head for the southern forest. He hits the forest at night. He accidentally snaps a bone, attracting a pack of furious soul pets nearby. Meanwhile, Carl is grabbing a drink with Zini, one of the big leaders on Nightmare Island. Inside the pub, Zini asks Carl what kind of favor he needs this time. Carl wants one of his servants to take Yuki out in the upcoming Inner Island battle. Carl throws a total tantrum because Yuki has already killed 3 of his most promising servants. Zini is actually shocked that a kid that young could be that strong. So Carl assures him that Yuki's soul pet is nothing but a basic Moonlight Fox. Zini finally agrees to let one of his own children finish the boy off. Their dark laughter echoes as they spend the rest of the night drinking. He lets his child handle the job while they laugh and drink the night away. 2 days later, the old salesman remembers Yuki and assumes the kid is never coming back. He is completely stunned when he sees Yuki walk into his store once again. But now his clothes are ragged and he is covered in scars and bandages. The boy drops a massive bag of soul cores on the table, leaving the old man speechless. The old man realizes he owes the kid a total of 7 gold coins. 7 gold coins. The old man tells Yuki he is the first Nightmare Island servant he has ever seen collect that much money in only 2 days. Yuki is bummed out that he doesn't see any soul technique scrolls for sale. So he gets ready to head out. The old man stops him right there and tells Yuki he should not underestimate him. He leads Yuki to the back where there is a cabinet. He pulls a door open and it reveals a hidden secret doorway. Yuki's jaw drops. The room is packed with scrolls for soul techniques and tons of other rare items. For soul pets. The old man promises the boy he has every soul technique he could ever need. Yuki gets super excited. He spots the rapid freeze technique and asks for it. But he cringes when the old man wants 5 gold coins. Yuki is practically in tears because he is leaving the shop with every last cent already spent. Suddenly, the old man tosses him a fresh bottle of healing medicine for free. The salesman tells the boy he sees huge potential in him, making him a great long-term investment. With a knowing wink, he tells Yuki to make sure he shops there again in the future, later on. Later, Yuki gets back to the servant's cabin and is shocked to find the place in total ruins. Yuki enters their home and finds his friends looking beat up and seriously troubled. He asks what happened and Tina explains a foreman gave them high-quality soul cores for the tournament. Some guys from other islands saw the cores and demanded a trade. When Tina and the others refused, they attacked, forcing a massive fight. Then Potter asks Yuki where he has been hiding this whole time. He also mentions the tournament will be fought by teams. But now that their soul pets are all injured, they are at a really severe disadvantage. Despite the disadvantage, Yuki stays totally calm and walks toward the stairs. Tina explains the format, 10 soul pets on each side fighting at once. And trainers are not allowed to participate. And the winners walk away with the soul technique. Yuki says he gets it and heads upstairs. Potter yells at him for being way too self-centered. Yuki tells him not to sweat it and promises to help them get back everything they lost. That night Tina can barely sleep because her room is freezing cold. It turns out Yuki is practicing that rapid freeze technique before bed. The next morning the kids all head over to the battle arena. As they walk in, they are told not to look up, since that would be seen as a total sign of disrespect. Watching from above is the master of the main island with the sub-island heads right below him. From his throne, the master says he heard Lord Carl brought a pretty weak group this year. Carl claims the stronger kids all died in an accident and that he has zero expectations for this current batch. The current group of island leaders hear this and start laughing at him. Then the announcer shouts that the first match is about to start. Potter notices their opponents are the notorious Hmong team. He says it is the same crew that swiped their soul cores yesterday. Their leader Feng smirks and tells his group they are fighting weaklings, so they should just chill. Potter tells them not to worry since their teamwork gives them an edge. The teams face off and summon their soul pets. Yuki's fox and his friend's pets appear. Meanwhile, Feng calls out a massive scaled armor beast, while the rest of his group brings out a wind demon and a Gila monster. Feng laughs when he spots the Moonlight Fox, thinking it looks incredibly weak. Potter warns Yuki that the armor beast is their biggest problem, so they'll pin it down while Moxie handles the other opponents. The fight kicks off and Moxie instantly charges an enemy and slashes it. This forces its trainer to recall it quickly, fearing another strike might actually kill it. His teammate calls him a coward, but Feng tells everyone to stay focused. Meanwhile, that scaled beast is proving to be unstoppable. Yuki tells the team not to panic and just keep doing their best to stall it. Moxie suddenly leaps into the air and beheads the Gila monster. Everyone watching is totally shocked by what just happened. Feng screams at his team to target the fox first. The scaled beast starts rolling straight toward Moxie. As the beast rolls toward her, Moxie sprints away. Potter yells that they are going to help her out. Their demon flower starts firing projectiles at the armored beast. While the flower fires, their rock pet stands directly in the beast's path, successfully blocking its forward movement and protecting Moxie. Then, the demon flower wraps thick vines around the scaled beast. Together, the two soul pets try their best to keep it from moving. This leaves it open to attack, but Feng isn't worried because its scales are tough. Moxie lunges forward and slashes at the beast's body. She creates a crack in the armor which breaks off to reveal its soft flesh. Feng is totally stunned. Yuki tells his teammates that they finally have an opening. Their pets take advantage immediately, striking the newly exposed weak point. The armored beast is defeated as Feng sees with pure rage. Still furious, he tells his teammate it's up to the wind demon and activates an ability. He screams that the wind demon must finish this, and the creature begins sucking in huge amounts of air. It creates a powerful whirlwind that starts sucking in every soul pet in the arena. The massive whirlwind is now nearly bigger than the entire arena. The kids shield their faces as Yuki realizes it hasn't even hit its final stage. He orders Moxie to go right through it. The fox focuses, then activates Shadow Assault mode to break the barrier. Tina is thrilled to see how fast Moxie is growing. Moxie lands right in front of the wind demon and starts the chase. Panicking, the trainer yells that these demons can't fight up close and begs his team for help. No help is coming though, since Moxie's teammates are busy handling the other opponents. Yuki gives the command and Moxie delivers a final lethal blow to the wind demon. The crowd is stunned as Zenny admits to Carl that Yuki is actually strong. He figures the fox must have finally reached its second phase. Zenny tells Carl that Yuki is legit and has clearly leveled up again. He watches with a knowing smile. He smirks and says not to worry because his guys are way better than that losing Hmong team. They both smile while the announcer declares Carl's team the official winners. Yuki and his friends share a winning smile. Potter puts a hand on Yuki's shoulder, admitting he finally believes in his power. He asks why Moxie looks stuck in stage 6 instead of phase 2. Yuki just grins, saying his pet's pathetic appearance has actually improved quite a bit. Suzu leans in, asking what the fox's real face is. Yuki tells her to guess, making her blush instantly. Tina catches the moment between them and feels a sudden surge of jealousy. Yuki catches a sharp whistling sound. It is time. Tina gets jealous suddenly, then Yuki hears a sharp whistling sound. It means Moxie has reached a new level after days of battling. Moxie's paws suddenly burst into bright, hot flames. And those razor-sharp claws look even more dangerous now. Moxie tests out some new power moves and Yuki looks totally impressed. He does not need to fear any soul pet below phase 2 stage 7 anymore. The first round is finished and the second round is about to begin. Now Yuki's squad is set to face off against Team Zeni. As the second round starts, Yuki's team prepares to fight Team Zeni. Zeni suggests he and Carl head down to the battlefield for a closer view. Both sides summon their soul pets to the field. Yuki's friends are stunned to see their opponents are all already above phase 2. Potter tells them to stay defensive. If they can't win, they must recall their pets before they get killed. Yuki's face turns serious as the battle finally kicks off. Tina strikes first, ordering her demon flower to grow a thorny rose wall. The other team laughs at their defensive strategy. An opponent uses a thorny demon to shred the vines, destroying the wall. The thorns fly toward the flower, but a rock monster blocks them, giving Tina an opening. But the wind fairy launches a powerful whirlwind attack. It traps the flower demon and rock monster in a massive tornado. One teammate realizes they are likely going to lose. Still, he stays positive. The longer his eagle survives, the higher his individual rank will climb. That hope vanishes when a hunting wolf leaps up and bites his eagle right through the neck. Moxie reacts fast, taking the wolf's head off as it hits the ground. Team Zeni is shocked. One girl steps forward, claiming she will handle the fox herself. The Umbra monster slams its hands down onto the hard ground. Yuki panics as blue flames erupt around Moxie. He tries to dodge but realizes the flames are actually targeting his shadow. He is paralyzed by the shadow-seizing soul fixation skill. To make matters worse, he cannot use any mental techniques now. Tina shouts at Yuki to give up so he can save Moxie's life while he can. Reluctantly, Yuki begins the unstoppable soul pet recall spell to get his partner out. Suddenly, a powerful mental restriction slams into him, breaking the spell. He looks over and sees Lord Carl standing right there, responsible for the interference. The evil lord smiles coldly, telling him to enjoy the fight for just a bit longer. Yuki watches helplessly while Moxie is pinned by shadow fixation. Tina sees him struggling and asks if he is alright. Carl warns her to stay out of it or she will be killed. Team Zeni laughs at the fox's desperate struggles as they move in to finish it off. The flame tail pet launches 3 fireballs. In desperation, Yuki orders Moxie to drop the disguise. A massive explosion rocks the field. Team Zeni is sure the fox is dead. As the smoke clears, everyone holds their breath. The smoke begins to settle and the Umbra monster's trainer suddenly notices something strange is going on amidst the wreckage. She screams at her teammate to pull the flame tail pet back right now. It is far too late. Moxie lunges from the dirt and slashes the flame tail, killing the creature on the spot before anyone can even react. The Zeni squad is in total shock that the fox is still breathing. Carl is livid, realizing Yuki has been playing him the whole time. The crowd finally sees the truth. The fox is already at phase 2 stage 4. On top of that, it clearly had fire soul crystal training to survive that intense fireball attack. Wei Lan panics, realizing they might actually lose. He orders everyone to use their pets together. The Thorn Demon, Grass Nido Monster, and Red Scorpion all rush toward Moxie. Tina and Potter watch Yuki closely. He tells his pet it is kill or be killed. Moxie bolts, baiting the Thorn Demon and Wind Fairy to strike. Moxie dodges the whirlwind with ease. One of the teammates realizes the fox is way too cunning. Another trainer orders their Thorn Demon to launch an attack. The demon spins its thorns like a lethal propeller and charges at the fox. Yuki commands his pet to use Shadow. He winces under the massive strain while Carl wonders how much soul power is left. Moxie feels his master's struggle and gets distracted, taking a direct hit from the thorns. Yuki yells for him to use his flames. The Thorn Demon ignites. It is over. Yuki orders the fire attack and the Thorn Demon goes up in smoke. Its master panics, knowing fire kills plants, and pulls his pet back. Waylon shouts a warning that those flames will keep burning inside his soul pet space. The guy doesn't believe him until he feels a strange heat rising deep inside. Suddenly, fire erupts from his nose and mouth, and he collapses to the dirt. Carl is absolutely livid seeing how much power Yuki has been hiding this whole time. Yuki isn't scared and tells Carl to just enjoy the show. Meanwhile, Moxie faces down 3 different soul pets at once. 3 soul pets. Team Zeni's confidence is totally gone. They know even a win here means they're toast in the next round. Waylon tells everyone to stop panicking and just focus on the battle in front of them. Yuki tells Moxie to strike now. The fox lunges forward and slashes a soul pet right across the neck. A wolf managed to snag Moxie's leg, but the fox kicks him off and breaks free instantly. He bolts toward the Wind Fairy, but the Gila monster suddenly cuts him off. It slams a hand down and casts Dark Shadow Shield, building a massive wall for protection. Moxie stares at the barrier for a second before unleashing his blood-rending claw. The strike rips through the shield like paper and slices the Wind Fairy clean in half. Everyone in the crowd is completely stunned by this insane display of power. Lord Carl fumes while the other team panics. Team Zeni realizes they're outclassed and decides it is time to surrender. Zeni himself appears right behind them and calls his own team a bunch of losers. He sees no reason to let them live and summons his most ferocious soul pet. The beast rips the team to shreds while Waylon watches the horror unfold. Waylon drops to his knees while Zeni orders him to summon his nightmare and fight. Waylon is paralyzed by horror. He drops to his knees as Zeni screams at him to summon his nightmare. Waylon protests that he won't have any soul power left. Zeni tells him he will die if he refuses. Waylon realizes he has no choice. He kneels and starts focusing. A magic circle glows around him and a giant nightmare emerges. Moxie starts to sweat. He knows this enemy is dangerous. The nightmare towers over him and sends him flying with just a flick of its hand. Moxie slams into the ground, screaming in pain as purple flames completely engulf him. Yuki watches in total horror and lets out a desperate scream for his pet. Moxie continues to writhe in agony on the arena floor. Carl looks pleased and starts mocking Yuki, telling the kid to just give up. The boy drops to his knees, still barely holding on. He is struggling hard against Carl's mental attack. He gathers every bit of energy he has left. Suddenly, he unleashes the White Nightmare. He breaks free from Carl, who is completely stunned. The spectators realize he had actually been feeding the White Nightmare this entire time. Even the Island Master is intrigued by how those negative emotions attracted the White Nightmare. Yuki bolts toward Moxie and casts Rapid Freeze, locking the Dark Nightmare in place. He grabs his soul pet, absorbing those purple flames while yelling through the insane pain without letting go. Suddenly, they are both wrapped in white fire with the White Nightmare looming right behind them. The blaze is massive, literally swallowing up the entire floor of the arena. The White Nightmare completely towers over that other beast. Waylon catches a glimpse and goes dead pale with fear. The White Nightmare towers over the other one. Waylon turns pale with fear while Yuki triggers his soul technique, Flame On. Bright white fire consumes the Dark Nightmare. Waylon feels the backlash and starts coughing up blood. He collapses as his nightmare starts to vanish. Yuki keeps holding Moxie tight, whispering to his pet that it is finally okay to rest. Then he spots Carl creeping up behind him. He is holding his pet and telling him he can rest, but then he spots Carl. Carl's right arm is totally burned, so he cannot use it, and he Instead, he just grabs a knife with his left hand. Since his right arm is burned, he grabs a knife with his left hand instead. Yuki says he is finished and tries to cast his flame spell. But nothing happens because his energy is completely tapped out. Carl just smirks, finally able to use his powers. He summons his soul pet to finish the defenseless boy. Yuki barely rolls away from the beast's first strike. Carl coldly orders his pet to slaughter the kid. Yuki is about to be devoured when something suddenly grabs the soul pet's tail. It is a white nightmare Yuki recognizes immediately. This is the same one from his childhood appearing out of nowhere. It easily yanks the soul pet up by the tail, then crushes it like wet laundry. Yuki realizes this creature belongs to Lord Shin. Shin is definitely the guy who snatched him and dumped him on this hellish island. Carl drops to his knees, lying that he was only trying to help by killing the boy. He claims Yuki lacks the energy to feed the white nightmare anymore. Shin sees through the lies. He watched Carl use a spirit seal to trap Yuki and keep him from recalling his pet. He glares at him, accusing Carl of trying to murder a tamer with the power to raise a nightmare. He commands the guards to drag Carl away. Yuki watches it happen as his vision starts blurring. His body has reached its limit. He passes out from the sheer exhaustion of the fight. High in the stands, a gorgeous young woman in expensive clothes watches. Later, Yuki wakes up on a ship at sea. Shin is standing right there beside him. He jumps up and demands to know why Shin brought him here. Shin explains Yuki's family was kicked out of the top 4. He should understand that losing power has serious consequences for everyone involved. The boy thinks it over, then asks if the Yang family paid Shin to take him out. Shin admits he is not sure which family member did it. But the Yangs definitely didn't keep their promise. He says he is sharing this because Yuki actually has what it takes to be an elite tamer. Plus, the princess was the one who asked to spare him. The young boy has no clue about any princess. He was asked to spare Yuki, but the boy has no clue why. He thinks back and remembers that rich young lady at the arena. He wonders why she would even help him. He remembers the young lady at the arena and wonders why she'd help him. Shin says maybe she pities him as she also trains a stage for White Nightmare. Shin then gives him two choices. Option number 1. He can extract the White Nightmare so Yuki can go back home and live normally. To visit Prison Island just once. Every 3 years, over 3,000 criminals arrive. But only one person survives the 3-year sentence. If Yuki survives, Shin will give him the White Nightmare demon and a spot in the Nightmare Palace. He makes it clear that this is the first real choice. Yuki can keep struggling while his family suffers, or he can choose to become one of the elite few. If he actually makes it out alive. Sweating, Yuki weighs his options. He wonders if he should just give the White Nightmare back to Shin and go home to his family. Shin sees the boy is deep in thought and leaves him alone to decide his fate. Yuki tells him he has already decided. He declares he is getting off Prison Island alive. Shin tells him it was the right move since he would have just killed him if he had said no. Princess Joanna asks if Yuki can really last 3 years on that island. Shin says he has no idea, but the choice belongs to the boy. A few days later, Shin summons the winged tiger and tells Yuki it will fly him straight to the island. Yuki gets hyped while riding the beast. Shin tells him this same soul pet will be the one to eventually pick him up. The tiger bolts into the sky with Yuki hanging on. After a while, Prison Island finally appears in the distance. Wormy peeks out of his shirt and Yuki wonders why. The little bug seems weirdly energetic as it stares at something from high above. Yuki looks up and spots a massive shadow looming over the clouds. The tiger pushes hard toward the island, desperate to escape whatever is stalking them from the dark sky above. It forces the tiger to dive too fast and clip a tree branch. Nearby ice falcons spot them crashing and attack with ice spikes. Seeing the danger, the tiger lets out a massive roar that shatters the incoming ice. The birds get spooked and fly off, leaving Yuki to thank the tiger for the wild but safe flight down. He waves goodbye as the tiger flies off, then Yuki summons Moxie to start exploring the island. Wormy crawls out of his clothes because he senses something nearby. Yuki looks around and finds someone completely frozen in a solid block of ice. Yuki can tell from the lack of wounds that the kid simply froze to death. Wormy screams when he notices an ice falcon stalking them from a high branch overhead. It launches ice spikes, but Moxie burns them away with a stare. The fox then lunges and claws at the bird until it retreats. Yuki can tell that Wormy is definitely feeling more energetic today. The worm spits a silk net trapping the falcon and bringing it down. The bird howls, calling in a whole flock of ice falcons. They all start raining down ice spikes, forcing Yuki and his pets to scramble behind a tree for cover. The tree is about to snap from the constant ice barrage. Yuki seriously thinks this is the end for him. Meanwhile, an aggressive Wormy spits out a silk rope and hitches a ride on one of the birds. The bug hangs on tight as the bird takes off. Suddenly, the worm rolls around in its own silk until it is completely mummified. The worm then spits out even more ropes, binding several more birds to itself. Before long, all the birds are mummified in the middle of a massive web between two trees. Yuki is stunned to see Wormy going through some kind of mutation. Sensing a presence, he and Moxie duck behind a tree. A swordsman approaches the web in shock. Yuki does not want this guy messing with Wormy, so he steps out from behind the tree to face the man. The man is thrilled to find a target and gets ready to fight. Suddenly, silk webs wrap around him until he is mummified and stuck. He summons his demon tiger soul pet to break free, but the soul pet gets stuck in the web too. In seconds, even the tiger is mummified. Yuki nervously touches the web, terrified it might trap him as well. He sighs in relief that Wormy can still tell friend from foe even in this weird state. He checks the man's bag and finds some bread along with books on different soul techniques. Yuki starts reading one of the books to figure out what kind of soul pet his worm actually is. He finds a race called the Cocoon Race and thinks it describes Wormy perfectly. He tries to research what Wormy's final evolution will be. The book says the final form is unknown, which only makes Yuki more excited and curious about what Wormy will become. He cannot wait to see the results of this mysterious mutation. He tells Moxie they have to guard the worm until it hatches a week later. Yuki and Moxie are already getting impatient with their guard duty. They see that Wormy's cocoon has grown as large as the surrounding trees. Yuki decides they cannot just stand around, they need to go out and get stronger. Moxie wants to stay, but Yuki explains the cocoon is tough enough to protect itself. They trek across the island until they hit a cliff. Yuki notices Moxie staring down into the drop. Taking a cautious step forward, he takes a peek over the edge. He spots a cave encased in ice and figures there has to be some rare treasure inside. Yuki scales down the jagged cliffside with Moxie until they reach the mouth of the dark cave. The wind inside is brutal, it is freezing and hitting him like a wall of ice. The wind inside is howling and bitterly cold, but Moxie takes the lead. He uses a brand new soul technique, literally setting himself on fire to light the path. They spot something frozen solid deep inside a massive block of ice. The second Yuki touches the ice, it shatters, out pops a rare ice fairy soul pet. It looks just like a tiny genie or a ghost floating in its misty form. Yuki tells Moxie to stay sharp, judging by all this ice, this little thing is powerful. Moxie leaps at the ice fairy, activating his fire armor ability to protect himself. He claws the fairy across the chest, but the wound heals up in a heartbeat. That attack really ticks the fairy off. It summons a floating ice sword and launches it right at them. Moxie dodges the blades, but the fairy keeps throwing more. Yuki yells for Moxie to start running in circles. As Moxie circles the fairy, those ice swords stay locked on his tail, following him everywhere. The heat from Moxie's trail melts the swords and leaves the fairy totally dazed and confused. Yuki thinks the fairy is actually pretty cute and decides he wants it as his own soul pet. He summons a glowing magic circle to begin the soul pact with the little fairy. Suddenly, the boy notices the ice on the cavern walls is starting to grow rapidly. A whole flock of ice falcons swarms into the cave, screeching as they approach. The ice walls are growing and a massive flock of ice falcons is invading. Yuki needs to tame the ice fairy immediately. So he points his glowing magic circle at the creature. The fairy just stares back at him with big, curious eyes. Those dangerous falcons are closing in, so Yuki and Moxie bolt before the pact is even done. The ice fairy follows right behind them, and Yuki realizes it actually accepted the soul pact. Yuki glances back and panics. Those ice falcons are gaining on them fast. They launch sharp ice spikes at them, so they keep moving. He panics because the falcons are catching up and throwing deadly ice spikes. They have no choice but to keep sprinting through the narrow cave. Once they lose the falcons, Yuki checks his old book. He finds out the fairy is actually a high-ranking soul pet. Yuki wanders through the dark cavern and figures it would make a perfect hideout. Suddenly, two nervous-looking guys walk into the cave and spot Yuki. It seemed like a good hideout, but two nervous guys walk in and spot Yuki. They immediately summon their soul pets, which turn out to be two ice falcons. Yuki is totally fed up with seeing ice falcons. He throws a massive tantrum before even giving an order. The ice fairy stabs the birds with her sword. With their pets defeated, the men panic and run for it. Yuki does not want them to escape, so he orders the fairy to put up an ice wall at the exit. Instead, she summons it right in front of Yuki, which lets the guys get away. The fairy starts crying because she knows she messed up, but Yuki comforts his new pet. He tells her it is fine and that she will get better at following his orders soon. He tells his new pet it is okay and that she will understand his commands better next time. Yuki looks down and realizes those men dropped something on the floor. It is a mysterious scroll sealed tight with the official mark of the Nightmare Palace. He unrolls the scroll and is totally shocked. The paper mentions a deacon and lists 3,000 prisoners held on the island. The ice fairy notices something on the back, and when Yuki flips it over, he sees a detailed map of the prison island. Yuki thinks about catching those men to squeeze them for more info. But the ice fairy suddenly snatches the paper and starts dancing through the air with it. Yuki realizes he hasn't given her a proper name yet, so he names her Nina. She loves it, making him feel really proud. As he tracks the men who escaped, he suddenly hears a loud scream for help. Yuki looks over and sees one of the guys getting bullied into handing over his secret map. The terrified man makes an excuse, claiming the deacon gave the map to another prisoner. He even offers to help the bully track it down. This confirms Yuki's suspicion that the map really was handed out by the deacon himself. The bully summons his massive bull soul pet, and it brutally takes the man out. Yuki recognizes that bull as a Yang family soul pet. He wonders if the whole family is on the island. He realizes the red-headed bully is actually Dean, a member of the powerful Yang family. Seeing him really ticks Yuki off as he remembers their history. He remembered being a kid. Back then, Dean bullied him just for being part of the Chu family. Yuki's brother stepped in to save him, summoning a massive hunting wolf for protection. Dean didn't care, he just laughed as the wolf was ruthlessly taken down. Furious, Yuki calls out Moxie. The fox springs an ambush on Dean from the shadows. The bull senses the attack and they both dodge. Yuki steps out from the trees, shocking Dean. The bully demands to know what he is doing there. The boy replies that he is only there because of the powerful Yang family. Dean questions his presence and Yuki credits the Yangs. Dean looks closer and scoffs. All Yuki has is a tiny, weak Moonlight Fox. He thinks this will be easy. Feeling confident he will win, he orders his savage bull to charge straight at them. As the bull lunges, Moxie uses a shadow ability to create realistic decoys while charging forward. The massive bull swats the illusions away. But Moxie finds an opening, slashing the beast right in the eye. The bull bellows in pure agony and rage. Dean warns him that the bull only gets tougher with every fresh wound. The bull slams into Moxie, throwing the little fox deep into the thick undergrowth. The bull tears through the bushes, but the fox has completely vanished. Moxie drops from the trees instead, ending the bull's life with one lightning-fast lethal strike. Yuki tells Moxie to finish Dean off. Terrified, Dean flees, summoning a massive tornado to keep the fox away. Right when he thought he would escape, he trips over a rock and slams onto the ground. Dean quickly summons a massive winged soul pet. Its deafening roar sends Moxie and Yuki flying back. Yuki sees that this beast is a terrible matchup for Moxie. Worried about his pet, he tells Moxie to return to the soul plane. But the fox refuses to quit, so Yuki lets the battle go on. Dean conjures vines from the earth to snatch Yuki and his fox. Yuki uses a flash freeze to stop the vines cold. Moxie leaps at the winged monster and tries to use charm, but it fails. The beast retaliates, slamming Moxie with a heavy, powerful blow from its palm. Yuki starts to panic, terrified for his pet's safety. He watches in horror as Moxie hits the ground hard. Dean commands his savage monster to finish off the little fox. Yuki sees Moxie is down and Dean orders the kill. Panicked, Yuki jumps in front of the beast and summons Nina, the ice fairy. She quickly builds a thick ice wall to stop the monster in its tracks. The powerful beast shatters the ice wall effortlessly and sends Yuki flying backward through the air. Moxie opens its eyes and sees Yuki is knocked out cold. The determined fox stands up, transforming into its powerful and mature true form. The beast lunges at the fox with full force. Suddenly, a massive wind barrier erupts, blasting the monster away from Yuki. A second tail sprouts right next to the fox's original one. Yuki wakes up to see Moxie making the tornado even more intense. Dean screams for his beast to stop Moxie now. But the beast is too scared to move, it is paralyzed. Hidden within the raging wind is Moxie's terrifying new multi-tailed form. The fox unleashes a blur of strikes, shredding the beast into tiny pieces instantly. Terrified, Dean turns tail and tries to outrun the tornado. Moxie pounces on him, setting his entire arm on fire. Burning, Dean begs for his life, offering information for mercy. Yuki just walks away, leaving Dean's body in the rain. Escaping the cold rain, Yuki ducks back into the cave and warms up by the fire. He studies the news Moxie has officially mutated into the flaming six-tailed demon fox. Now he is sure they can survive Prison Island and track down all those hidden riches. He remembers Dean saying the prisoners are forced to fight and that Nightmare Palace hid a massive treasure somewhere on this island. Dean also mentioned the map lists every prisoner by name. And he has to take every single one of them out to claim the prize. Dean also told him the Yang family tried to hire Shin to slaughter the other prisoners. But they did not actually have enough cash to pay his high fee. Shin just robbed them of their family heirlooms instead. Now the pissed-off Yangs have sent a whole squad to the island to take back what is theirs. Hearing this makes Yuki even more determined to wipe out every member of the Yang family. After hearing they were coming for their gear, Yuki decided to end the Yang family for good. 1 month later, he notices that Nina has become way more powerful. Nina senses something strange and leads Yuki down a tight path between the canyon walls. Nina points ahead, telling him there is some high-ranking medicine waiting at the very end. They push deeper in and discover a high-ranking ice attribute herb that is perfect for helping Nina grow. Suddenly, Yuki senses something extremely dangerous and immediately orders Nina to shield him in ice armor. A savage soul pet lunges at them, so Nina creates a massive ice wall to block it from reaching them. The powerful monster smashes through and slashes Nina, shattering her into pieces while also knocking Yuki backward. Yuki is totally shocked to see that this soul pet is a high-ranking demon tiger. Yuki pulls Nina back into the soul plane. The boy feels lucky that an ice fairy is an elemental type, claws alone can't actually kill her. The furious tiger charges at Yuki, so claws cannot kill her, but the tiger is still charging. The boy sprints back to the narrow path where the beast cannot reach him. He realizes that the demon tiger is now completely trapped. Back in the narrow path, he sees the tiger is stuck. He wonders if he should just give up on the herbs, since they are deep in the tiger's dangerous territory. He realizes he can use his space ring to talk to the demon tiger, so he puts it on. Yuki asks the tiger to jump into the space ring so he can help it escape this isolated area. The tiger just gives him a massive, deafening roar. He wants to help it escape, but the tiger just roars. Yuki warns the beast that there are other people on this island who are a serious danger to its life. The tiger ignores him, so the disappointed boy walks away. As the beast settles down to sleep, it suddenly hears something and snaps its eyes open. It turns out Yuki brought it the fresh boar that Nina killed earlier. The kind boy tells the beast the food is for him, hoping the tiger can get out of there soon. Later on, Yuki notices his map is glowing bright. He wonders if that means a prisoner is lurking nearby. He unrolls the map, and it glows again the second he points it in a specific direction. He realizes that the map is showing him exactly which way to go. He buries the map so no one else can track him coming. Then he bolts in the direction the map showed and eventually finds two men who also have their own copy. These guys are discussing how they should go about capturing the demon tiger. These two men with the map are plotting to catch the demon tiger. Yuki recognizes them as Liam and John from the Yang family. The two of them start heading down the narrow path toward the beast. Liam heads toward the tiger first. He then summons a wind demon, which immediately alerts the tiger. The tiger tries to lunge at Liam, but it can't squeeze through the tight path to reach him. Liam starts making insulting faces at the tiger just to mock it. Yuki has been secretly following Liam down the path. He then builds a thick ice wall right behind Liam without him even noticing. Liam starts wondering why it suddenly feels so bitterly cold. Sharp ice swords are launched right at him the moment he looks back. Liam jumps back just in time, so the swords only strike the hard ground. Liam steps back just in time as the blades slam into the dirt behind him. Yuki, perched high on the wall, yells down that the demon tiger is closing in fast. Liam glances back. The tiger's massive shadow and giant paw are looming right over him. He lets out a scream so blood-curdling that John hears it from clear across the field. John bolts into the narrow passage while everything goes south. Yuki's still trying to convince the tiger to just accept his help. The stubborn tiger refuses again. Then John arrives. He falls to his knees, sobbing over his brother's body. He spots a trail of ice swords and starts following the path, leaving his brother's lifeless body. He follows the trail of ice swords all the way to the end, where he finds Yuki with Nina. John conjures a magic circle and Nina starts hurling ice swords at him. John tanks the hits with his rock armor skin. Yuki's not done. He tells Nina to keep the swords coming so their enemy doesn't have a second to summon his soul pet. Out of nowhere, a huge guy bursts out of the narrow path. He's riding a terrifying bull soul pet. That's Shang, one of the Yang family's most loyal servants. Yuki starts sweating. That bull has already reached its 7th stage of form. John screams for Shang to kill the murderer. The bull charges straight for Yuki. Yuki just smirks, calmly pulling the demon tiger right out of his soul plane. The tiger's deafening howl sends the bull and Shang flying backward. The massive demon tiger stands guard with Yuki and Nina, ready for a fight. Years ago, Yuki's most trusted soul pet turned its back on him and vanished. Because that runaway pet still counts as being officially summoned, Yuki's stuck only being able to call one soul pet at a time, even though he's a soul warrior. Everyone in the city treated Yuki like a total joke because of it. The Yangs bullied him relentlessly for years, but today things are different. Now the demon tiger stands with Yuki and Nina against their common enemy. John is floored. He can't believe a demon tiger would actually bond with Yuki. Shang snaps back, telling him the tiger is just helping the kid out. The servant calls out a hunting wolf and a terrifying winged beast to join the brawl. Yuki looks to the demon tiger to take on these new soul pets. Then he tells Nina to put up a massive ice wall. A thick wall of ice slams down, cutting John off from Shang. Now it's just the wolf and the winged beast against the tiger. Meanwhile, Nina goes head-to-head with the bull. He leaves the wolf and the beast to battle the tiger while Nina faces off against that angry bull. It charges and grazes her arm. But don't worry, Nina heals up in the blink of an eye. Nina heals in a heartbeat. John counts on the fact that Yuki can't summon any more pets, so he calls out a terrifying blade wing. It's a freakish monster that's half scorpion and half bird. Both the bull and the blade wing lunge at Nina. Both soul pets launch their projectile attacks. Nina isn't phased. She blocks everything with an ice wall. Nina snaps her fingers and freezes the bull's feet. Nina blocks the incoming attacks with an ice wall. Then she freezes the bull's feet and launches sharp ice swords at both soul pets. The hits land hard, it forces John's hand. John's forced to summon another pet, the lightning-fast Star Wolf. The Star Wolf blurs as it dashes toward Nina. Rips her arm off before the Ice Fairy even realizes it. Then it gobbles up the frozen arm and chews on it. Nina is left reeling in agony on the floor. Her arm is gone and she is gasping through the sharp pain of the loss. To John, watching Yuki's soul pet struggle is absolutely hilarious. Yuki pulls Nina back into the safety of the soul plane. John demands to see Yuki's other pets. Yuki summons Moxie, which makes John burst out laughing when he sees it is just a simple Moonlight Fox. A fox? He orders his Star Wolf to devour the pathetic creature quickly. The Star Wolf lunges at Moxie. Moxie suddenly reveals its true form, a flaming six-tailed demon fox, and bites the wolf's neck. The wolf's body is immediately consumed by agonizing flames. John is stunned to see his Star Wolf taken down so effortlessly. He orders his Blade Wing to ignore the fox and kill Yuki. Yuki summons an Ice Warrior to block the path. John taunts him, wondering if the armor can survive the Blade Wing's assault. Moxie hits the Blade Wing with an evil glare, crushing its fighting spirit. Moxie then lunges at John, forcing him to summon another pet. Moxie shreds the new pet instantly, leaving John trapped between the fox and the massive ice wall. Already. John screams for Shang to break the wall. Suddenly, the demon tiger smashes through from the other side. John starts crying as he realizes he is now completely on his own. Yuki warns him that there is no escaping this tiger. The beast walks up to Yuki and gets in his face. The boy tenses up, worried the tiger might actually try to eat him. It just spits out Shang's mangled remains. The tiger spits out Shang's mangled remains. Yuki looks at the carnage and realizes just how insanely strong the beast is. He starts dreaming about taming the creature and riding it as his own. Moxie gets jealous and nips Yuki's head. Yuki smiles, pats the fox, and promises it will be stronger than the tiger one day. Then he notices a space ring on Shang. The boy picks it up, wondering if he can store gear inside. He focuses his energy, making the ring glow with light. Yuki finds a set of powerful soul armor inside the ring. He concentrates harder to link his own energy into the mystic gear. The ring contains a legendary set of soul armor. Yuki pours his energy into the gear so he can call it forth whenever he needs it. He activates the suit, and Moxie is so obsessed with the new look that it jumps up to hug him. Yuki promises to get the fox its own armor, which makes the little creature thrilled. The fox is thrilled, he stores the armor back and grabs some medicine. He pulls out several healing bottles to help Nina recover. He also uses the rare Cold Valley herb he snatched from the tiger. Nina drinks every single drop of medicine until her stomach looks like it might pop. She rushes over to Yuki to swallow the rare herb he is holding. Her arm grows back instantly as if nothing happened. Yuki is relieved to see Nina is not only healed but significantly more powerful than before. Yuki smiles with confidence. Revenge against Carl and the Yang family finally feels like a real possibility. A year later, a tree warrior soul pet is seen fighting a dangerous prisoner on the island. The tree warrior crushes him and snatches the scroll he was carrying. The soul pet brings the prize back to Yuki, who is now its master. Yuki checks the scroll and sees the names of the final 1,000 prisoners. Somewhere else, a map starts to glow. It belongs to a man named Carl. He is happy that someone is headed his way so he can finally kill again. He grins, excited for the chaos coming his way. It turns out Suzu is in the cave with Carl as well. He hands her a sharp knife and tells her she knows what to do. Suzu stays silent, so Carl snaps at her to give him an answer. Suzu grabs the shiny knife and the glowing map, promising she will do whatever he says. Suzu heads out of the cave to find the person who is approaching. She recalls the dark days of surviving on that brutal prison island. Searching for the person coming. She recalls surviving on the prison island by letting men get close, only to kill them with her knife while they were totally distracted. She keeps walking, wondering when this miserable cycle of constant survival will finally end. She sits by the ancient tree, ignoring the heavy rain pouring down. Hiding her knife behind her back, she waits for the stranger to arrive. Ignoring the heavy rain, she hides her knife and waits for the person to approach. She opens her tired eyes and is relieved to see Yuki. She reaches for a hug, but the weary boy backs away. He tells her he knows this is nothing but a trap. Suzu says she is just happy to see him, since it has been so long since she has seen a friendly face. Well, besides Carl anyway, Yuki asks where he is, and Suzu gives him an answer. Suzu begs him to run, certain that he is no match for someone like Carl. The boy ignores the warning and heads straight for Carl instead. Carl hears something from inside the cave and thinks Suzu is back. He ignores her and heads toward the cave. Carl hears movement and thinks Suzu is back, but a knife suddenly flies at him. He barely manages to dodge it. Yuki steps out of the shadows, greeting him with a heavy dose of sarcasm. Carl is actually happy to see him, since he planned on hunting Yuki down after leaving the island. Yuki quickly draws a magic circle to summon his powerful soul pet. But Carl hurls a knife back, shattering the circle before the summon can even work. Carl releases his own wicked nightmare soul pet, which immediately starts attacking. Before the circle activates, Carl releases his evil nightmare soul pet. It spits out massive waves of fire, forcing Yuki to bolt out of the dark cave. Carl rushes outside to chase him, and he sees that the Yuki flees the cave, and as Carl follows, he sees that the boy has already summoned Moxie in its powerful six-tailed flame form. Seeing such an incredibly rare soul pet completely shocks the former deacon. Carl summons a terrifying wind demon soul pet to fight back. Moxie slices right through it like it is thin paper. Carl calls out a massive hunting wolf, which slams into Moxie hard. Moxie recovers in an instant and kills the wolf with one quick strike. Carl is getting even more furious now, so he orders his terrifying nightmare pet to burn Yuki to death. Yuki summons a heavy ice wall for protection, but the nightmare breaks through. Yuki pulls Moxie back into the soul plane before the fireballs can hit the fox. Next, Yuki summons Nina, who looks way more mature than she did last year. Carl realizes he is going to have a hard time if he lets this ice-type pet fight against his fire-based nightmare for too long. The nightmare shoots a fire beam at the fairy, but Nina blocks it with a solid ice wall. Yuki then orders Nina to perform her ice dance. The graceful ice fairy begins a dance that creates a powerful blizzard, freezes the nightmare in a giant block of ice. Carl panics and runs back toward the cave, feeling completely terrified. He trips, leaving himself wide open to being frozen as well. Yuki approaches Carl's frozen body to tell him it is over. Later, Suzu finds Carl's frozen, shattered corpse on the ground. She cries tears of relief, finally free from his control, but then it dawns on her that no one is left to protect her, and she worries about her future. Meanwhile, Yuki is inside the cave checking out all the treasure Carl had collected. He is thrilled to find a rare lightning and fire double attribute soul crystal in the loot. Suzu walks into the cave and hugs Yuki, begging him to take her along with him. He shuts her down, telling her that her life isn't his problem to deal with. The girl pleads with him to stay, trying to trigger even a little sympathy. Yuki snaps at her, saying she isn't even worthy of being Tina's friend. He warns her not to follow him or he will straight up end her life. The girl is left all alone, sobbing inside the dark cave. Yuki wonders how Tina is doing, smiling because he knows she's okay. 2 years later, on another island, Shin feeds bread to some pigeons. He wonders if Yuki is still alive somewhere out there. He summons his flying tiger soul pet and orders it to Prison Island to find Yuki if he's still alive. The tiger takes to the sky while Zetsu and Herald of the Yang family trek through the thick woods. On Prison Island, hunting for Yuki, Zetsu rants about how they only wanted to stay 1 year on the island to reclaim their family treasure. But things got complicated fast because Yuki just keeps on killing their family members. Zetsu is fuming, swearing he will take the boy out. They keep walking until they find a forest covered in silk webbing, realizing a powerful Ancient soul pet is going through a slow metamorphosis. Harold is terrified of the power here and begs that they leave right now. Zetsu just laughs, seeing this as a rare chance to capture an ancient soul pet. He imagines that owning one would let him rule Lugang City. They cross the silk forest in total awe. When they spot Wormy's giant cocoon, a terrified Harold asks Zetsu to leave again. Zetsu, however, runs for the cocoon, claiming it as his. They are totally shocked to find Yuki is already standing right beside it. Zetsu warns Yuki that the cocoon belongs to him. He summons his soul pets, a thunder fairy and a trioptic beast, to attack. Moxie blocks them, but the thunder fairy blasts the fox with a bolt of lightning. The Yangs assume Yuki and his pet are toast under all that thick smoke. They start celebrating, but then the smoke clears. It reveals Yuki is riding the deer-like soul pet, the Thunder Dream Beast. The majestic deer fires a massive energy beam right at the Yangs. Zetsu blocks it with a magic shield. As Zetsu blocks the attack, Harold comments on how lucky Yuki is to get his hands on such an incredibly powerful soul pet. Zetsu screams at him to shut up and summon his soul pet right now. Harold quickly summons another trioptic beast and a hungry hunting wolf. Instead of fighting, Yuki bolts with his pets, daring the Yangs to try and catch them. Harold's pets give chase, but the Thunder Dream Beast suddenly stops and stares them down, hypnotizing both the pets and their confused master. Harold and his soul pets see a massive, terrifying swarm of bugs heading their way. They panic and start running wildly to get away. Zetsu tells Harold there are no bugs, but they keep running. The furious Zetsu tells Yuki he won't fall for it. He won't fall for any of his sneaky Thunder Dream tricks. Yuki tells him there's no way he wins without Harold by his side. Zetsu only gets even angrier and summons a giant poisonous millipede. Even with the giant millipede approaching, Yuki and his soul pets stay totally calm. Yuki orders his Thunder Dream to face off against the Thunder Fairy, the three-eyed trioptic beast. The millipede spits deadly poison, so the deer and fox fire back to counter the attack. Moxie leaps at the beast behind the giant insect while the millipede is distracted by the fox. The Thunder Dream electrocutes the enormous insect. The Thunder Fairy summons crackling bolts of lightning while the trioptic beast conjures a powerful tornado to strike Moxie. Despite their team effort, Moxie dodges every single thing they throw. Moxie charges the beast while creating a clone. It completely baffles the already dazed trioptic beast. This leaves it wide open for a slash from the swift fox. The dazed trioptic beast is wide open to the fox's quick slashes. This fierce attack sets the beast's entire body on fire. Yuki warns Zetsu again that every Yang will die on this cursed island. Zetsu stares at his burning pet, realizing the boy is being deadly serious. Meanwhile, that glowing blaze is visible from high above the forest trees. An old man named Kuro from the Yang family is flying his own trioptic beast above. He spots Harold and his pets nearby and flies over, seeing them completely paralyzed with fear. He realizes they were struck by a heavy mental assault. He touches Harold's head, forcing the man to snap out of his trance right away. Harold quickly explains how Yuki ambushed him and Zetsu. Kuro kicks Harold hard, ordering him to lead the way immediately. Kuro and Harold soar through the air on their soul beasts to reach the battle. They soon see Zetsu on a griffin soul pet. Zetsu begs Kuro to help them take Yuki down fast. Kuro charges ahead, but Yuki spots him. He knows he has to avoid a dangerous monster like him. Realizing the threat, he orders his loyal pet to retreat right now. Kuro conjures two massive twisters that hunt down Yuki and his Thunder Dream. Every tree surrounding Yuki just vanishes. The twisters hunt Yuki as the forest vanishes. Suddenly, it's revealed that Yuki summoned the Tree Warrior. It shields him and Thunder Dream from total destruction. Kuro is shocked the kid survived. He chases, relentlessly pursues the boy and his soul pets again. The Tree Warrior stays back to face Kuro's advance. It builds a dense wooden wall, but Kuro's beast rips right through it. It shreds the Tree Warrior's body into tiny pieces. Even though it's in bits, the Tree Warrior is still remarkably alive. Harold and Zetsu mention that tree warriors are nearly impossible to kill without fire. Meanwhile, Yuki is cornered by Kuro right in front of Wormy's massive cocoon. Yet the confident boy smiles, which infuriates Zetsu. He thinks the kid is being arrogant until the end. Yuki warns them he didn't run to this exact spot for nothing. His words make the Yangs nervous. Suddenly, that giant cocoon begins to crack open. Out of its shell comes Wormy, who now resembles a massive dragon. Emerges from the shell as a giant dragon. Wormy is terrifying. The Yangs immediately scramble away from the monster. Wormy's movements create wind so strong they knock the Yangs right off their flying soul pets. They tumble to the hard earth. Zetsu desperately begs Kuro to save his life. Desperately, meanwhile, Wormy's massive foot crushes Kuro's soul pet instantly. Kuro recognizes this dragon as a lost ancient soul pet. Wormy gazes down at Yuki with its massive eyes. Yuki knows right away that Wormy wants him to handle the rest. Yuki activates a cold soul technique, trapping the Yangs in solid ice. With a firm clench of his fist, the Yangs shatter into a million tiny shards. Small pieces. Yuki pets Wormy as if the dragon were still the same little worm he once knew. Suddenly, the weather shifts into a heavy downpour. Yuki can sense a powerful soul pet is approaching. Wormy roars loudly at the sky. He sees a giant flying monster hiding just above the dark clouds. Wormy flies to it swiftly. Their clash causes an explosion of lightning. As the tides rise and volcanoes erupt, the ground Yuki stands on splits open. Yuki promises Moxie that they will be as strong as Wormy and his mystery rival someday. Moxie nods in agreement. The heavy rain finally stops. The battle is finally over. Wormy falls straight out of the sky, and Yuki bolts toward his friend as fast as he can. The dragon's massive fall shatters the earth below. Worried sick, Yuki rushes over to see if he is still alive. The majestic dragon begins to shrink, getting smaller and smaller until he is barely taller than an average person. Wormy tells the boy to run. He explains that someone is coming to take his life. The dragon struggles up and spits out a glowing egg, handing the mysterious prize over to Yuki. With his life in danger, the dragon gives Yuki the egg. The boy realizes Wormy wants him to form a soul contract with the pet inside, hoping it will protect him once it grows powerful. The dragon nods and senses danger approaching from above. After one final look, Yuki vows to protect the egg at any cost. Wormy takes flight into the gray clouds, leaving the boy behind for now. Elite warriors on winged red lions circle the island. Their leader, Ting, announces that the Imperial Hidden Dragon has been spotted. He sends a scout to Prison Island to hunt for the dragon's egg. Ting remembers his mission to retrieve the legendary soul egg at all costs. As the whole group chases Wormy through the sky, Yuki has already safely tucked the valuable prize away inside his space ring. He heads back to the Demon Tiger's territory. The map reveals exactly where the Yang's final treasure sits. Back at the Demon Tiger's den, the map pinpoints the hidden treasure. Yuki summons Moxie and tells her to start digging. The little fox goes to work, kicking sand all over the boy. Right there in the dirt, Moxie uncovers a dusty treasure chest. Yuki lifts the heavy chest and slowly pries it open. Inside the spot Moxie was digging, Yuki carefully opens the chest. Tucked inside is an ancient scroll, radiating a brilliant golden light that fills the entire area. He immediately recognizes it as a rare soul technique scroll with a legendary perfection rate. The pages are covered in perfect, glowing magic circles. It is impossible to copy, designed to unlock a soul technique's true potential. Yuki reads that this powerful skill will massively boost his overall combat ability. He is so hyped to finally land such a high-level soul technique. He spots the majestic winged tiger and gets pumped to head out. Meanwhile, over in Nightmare City, crowds pack the arena to watch soul pet battles. Up in the VIP section where the important guests sit, the tension is rising. Shin chats with Lord Zoran, who is bragging about his top subordinate. He is certain Jared will win. Song, the Nightmare Palace's eldest son, places a bet against Zoran's fighter. Zoran warns him that nobody can take down Jared, not even Song could do it easily. Song slams a high-level soul crystal onto the table as bait. Song bets his high-level soul crystal that Zoran cannot defeat Jared within 10 minutes. Zoran asks what Song wants in return if he actually wins the bet. Song just smiles and says all he wants is the simple satisfaction of crushing Jared right in front of everyone. The two men stare each other down, their auras clashing. Meanwhile, down in the ring, Jared has just finished a match. As the leaders stare each other down, Jared finishes his match below. Song suddenly leaps into the ring and announces that the official countdown has already begun. Zoran is stunned to see his star champion, Jared, struggling. Jared is knocked out in only 7 minutes, shocking the crowd. Song brags that Jared could train for 10 years and still lose. The arrogant fighter then asks Shin to just end the whole tournament since he is clearly the winner. Shin tells him to slow down and wait a bit before declaring victory. Shin suggests waiting a bit longer before he claims the title for himself. Song is confused and asks why, since clearly nobody else in the entire arena is a match for him. Shin says someone truly strong is finally arriving. Song demands to know who it is and Shin looks up. Song looks up too, spotting Yuki standing tall on his flying wing tiger. Right into the dusty arena. Yuki leaps from the flying wing tiger and lands right in the dusty ring. He smells so bad that Song thinks Shin is pulling a prank by calling him strong. Shin orders his maid, Fishy, to give the boy a thorough washing before the battle begins. Yuki insists on fighting right now. He does not want to take another shower after he finishes crushing Song. The boy's trash talk makes Song so angry that he warns Shin he might actually kill him. Shin gives him the green light to kill the boy if possible. Song tells Yuki to summon his soul pet right now. Shin reminds the boy that they can only use one pet and cannot swap it out. Yuki tells Song to bring out his pet first. Song laughs out loud, thinking the boy is just trying to gain some kind of tiny advantage. He agrees to summon first, thinking his tricks won't work on him. Song summons a terrifying beast, the Blue Nightmare. Yuki sees it and summons Nina in turn. Song thinks his soul pet is pathetic and is confident he can win within 3 short minutes. Zoran watches from the sidelines, wondering why Yuki summoned a weak pet unworthy to fight a Blue Nightmare. Shin advises Zoran to just wait and watch patiently. The Blue Nightmare throws a massive fireball at its opponent. Nina counters with a thick ice wall that bounces the fireball away effortlessly. Nina emerges and begins her ice dance, which triggers a blizzard that freezes the Blue Nightmare solid. Song just smiles at the ice fairies. Attempt to restrain his beast. The nightmare surrounds itself with blue fire to create a raging fire tornado. Meanwhile, Nina is summoning sharp ice swords. The tornado sucks Nina in and turns her to nothing now. Yuki is alone with the Blue Nightmare stalking him. Song asserts that the victory is already decided. Shin sips his hot coffee, confident that Song is dead wrong. Zoran says he is bored because the battle ended way too fast. Shin informs the entire arena that the ice mirror ability is very different from an ice wall and that people easily mix them up. Zoran wonders what he means by that exactly. While people mix them up, Zoran wonders what he means exactly. Meanwhile, in the ring, Nina steps out of the ice mirror like it was made of water. Song realizes the one that disappeared earlier was just a fake double. Nina drops her sharp ice swords on the Blue Nightmare, pinning it down. She then grabs a sword and stabs it in the chest. Yuki tells Song that his battle awareness is actually terrible, and says he would have killed him if Shin had not stopped him. His cold words crush Song's pride, so he summons 2 more soul pets to the field. This leads to Yuki summoning Moxie, the demon fox. The fox's staring ability paralyzes the pets instantly. Yuki mocks Song, saying his tricks are completely useless against him. The frightened Song asks who he really is. Shin enters the ring to tell Song that the boy is the king of Prison Island. He really is. Shin enters the ring to tell Song the boy is the king of Prison Island. Song can't believe an 18-year-old conquered the notorious Prison Island. Yuki approaches Shin, demanding he fulfill his promise from 3 years ago of absolute freedom for conquering Prison Island. Shin agrees to return him to the Chu clan but needs him to do something first. Yuki asks what he wants. Shin declares he wants him to be Princess Joanna's personal squire with the title of Nightmare Prince. Zoran is so shocked he spills his coffee while jumping from his chair. The Nightmare Prince is said to have power equal to Nightmare City's master. Shin's servants in the ring kneel before Yuki as if he were their superior. Shin tells Fishy to bring Yuki to the Nightmare Palace. Shin comments ominously about how much he likes the boy's demon fox. Yuki stares at him, wary of whatever the man is planning. About how he likes the demon fox, Yuki stares at him, wary of the man's plans as Yuki is leaving. Song shouts that he will get his revenge. Fishy tours Yuki through the Nightmare Palace, showing him where he can and cannot go. She leads him to his comfortable-looking living quarters. Yuki cries as he remembers sleeping on the cold floor for years. Fishy tells him he can return home while waiting for Shin's orders. The maid won't give details on what Shin wants from the boy, only that he is needed to eliminate the Yang family. Details of what Shin wants, only that he is needed to eliminate the Yang family. Yuki worries Shin wants Moxie and knows he needs to escape his control fast. A servant tells the new Nightmare Prince that servant girls have been prepared for him. Young women wearing maid outfits enter Yuki's room. The only one who doesn't look nervous is Tina, who is among them. All 10 girls bow low before Yuki. Bowing before Yuki, he can tell all of them are terrified, making the boy feels like he is in a major bind. A servant tells Yuki that one girl is from his home island. Tina refuses to even look at her new master and hates the servant for bringing it up. Yuki decides to pick both the girl from his hometown and the blonde center girl. He heads to the next room, ordering his 2 new choices to follow and prep a bath for him. Immediately, both Tina and Quinn are terrified, fearing their new master has some pretty dark intentions for them. From the other room, Yuki calls out for Quinn to join him. Quinn walks in, tears streaming down her face as she goes. Quinn stays inside for a long time, making Tina panic that something truly horrible is happening in there. Tina rushes into the room, totally determined to save her best friend. She is shocked to find Quinn just happily cutting their new master's hair while he sits before a mirror. Tina realizes her new master is actually Yuki. She bursts into tears and hugs him tight. Meanwhile, at the Blue Nightmare Palace, the Lord hears about Yuki from his son. He is furious that the kid is now a Nightmare Prince. Song begs his father to step in and deal with Yuki once and for all. The father promises revenge, but he warns that they need to play it smart. They can't just attack him in public. Meanwhile, the streets are buzzing about Yuki's rise to power. It seems like everyone wants a piece of him in a soul pet battle. Yuki has been busy powering up Nina and Moxie using high-level soul cores. Tina and Quinn bring him a massive stack of challenge letters from fighters all over. Yuki looks at the pile and asks who the strongest fighters are. Tina quickly identifies the 5 most powerful masters from the Mountain of Mail. Yuki tells her to set up a match where he fights all 5 challengers simultaneously. Tina doesn't blink, but Quinn is totally swooning over how cool and powerful her master is. He's taking on all 5 at once. Tina keeps it professional, but Quinn is completely starstruck. Meanwhile, the singer hears the news from Song and is stunned. Yuki is actually going to fight 5 soul pet masters at the same time. Both the father and son think the kid is being way too cocky. Song tells his servant Trevor to come along tomorrow to witness the duel firsthand. The mysterious, hooded Trevor simply nods and obeys his master's command. The next day, the arena is packed. The Nightmare Palace lords take their seats waiting for the show. Among the VIPs are the long-haired Luno and the Green Nightmare Palace lord. Yuki spots Luno and asks who that guy is supposed to be. Watching the scene are the long-haired Luno and the Green Nightmare Palace lord. Yuki asks why everyone is bowing to Luno. Quinn explains that he is a Nightmare Prince adjudicator with authority over everyone, and he is also the judge for today's match. Luno officially calls for the soul pet duel to begin. Yuki and his 5 challengers step into the ring. One fighter steps forward. Gohan mocks Yuki, claiming he will be the one to take him down. He summons his terrifying Blue Nightmare soul pet to start the fight. Gohan vows to crush him and calls out his Blue Nightmare. The soul pet immediately launches a volley of snake-shaped flames. As the serpent flames fly, Yuki summons Nina to block the attack. Nina counters with ice swords, but the flames melt them away instantly. She keeps firing until one blade slips through the fire and strikes the blue nightmare. It vanishes, and Gohan is suddenly frozen solid. The boy shatters into pieces right in front of the other terrified challengers. Bruno screams at Yuki, accusing him of murder and breaking the arena rules. Luno steps in and corrects him. Yuki didn't target the boy, the master just died because his soul pet was destroyed. Yuki looks at the others and warns that he might accidentally kill them too. That threat is enough, terrified for their lives. All four remaining challengers immediately forfeit. Suddenly, Trevor speaks up. He asks Luno for permission to enter the fight himself. With the challengers gone, Trevor steps into the ring. He stares Yuki down and declares himself the next opponent for the prince. The crowd goes wild, dying to see Trevor in action. Tina warns Yuki that Trevor is the strongest fighter in the Blue Nightmare faction. Song watches from his seat, grinning because he thinks Yuki is finally a dead man. Princess Joanna makes her entrance and the entire crowd starts whispering about her beauty. Every single Nightmare Palace lord bows down as she passes by. Even Yuki and Trevor drop to their knees to show her respect. Chu Song offers her a seat beside him, but the princess just ignores him and walks away. She grabs the center seat instead. The princess tells Luno she came to see her squire fight 5 men. But Luno reports the challengers already gave up and that the boy will face Trevor instead. He asks Joanna who she thinks will win. Joanna says she trusts her squire to win no matter what. Yuki and Trevor face off. Trevor summons two blue nightmares. They charge. Yuki orders Nina to fly up and give the tree warrior ice armor. Trevor's beasts rush forward, but Yuki stays cool under the pressure. Nina hits the sky while the tree warrior attacks from below. The blue nightmares chase Nina, trying to drop flaming boulders on her. But the tree warrior's vines sprout from the dirt and bind them. They burn the vines and break free. The fire tries to travel underground, but Nina cuts the vines just in time. Trevor is getting annoyed, so he tells his nightmares to attack Yuki. The massive nightmares rush him. They are about to punch, but Yuki stays calm. Yuki activates a powerful soul technique. The move lets him vault high before the nightmares can land a hit. They punch the ground instead, creating a massive pit that pulls them in. The tree warrior's vines drag them down even deeper. Nina lets a shower of ice swords fall on them. Luno starts clapping from his seat in the stands. Nina rains down more ice swords. Luno claps as the nightmares take heavy damage from the barrage. Their energy is fading. Trevor summons a blue nightmare prince. The ice swords keep falling as their energy drops. Trevor brings out a third nightmare. Joanna watches closely, wondering how her squire handles this. Yuki sends the tree warrior back to the soul plane. Yuki thinks Trevor is cheating to summon 3 nightmares and wants to expose him. He summons Moxie to take over. Joanna asks why Yuki doesn't summon a third soul pet himself. Shin tells her Yuki was abandoned by one before and can't summon a third anymore. The princess is impressed that Yuki survived the prison island with that disadvantage. Moxie uses his multiple tails like a whip to launch the third nightmare. The other 2 nightmares hurl fire lances at the fox. The flaming lances almost hit Moxie, but Nina's ice walls deflect them. Moxie splits into 3 and instantly kills 2 nightmares with a united attack. The crowd worries Trevor might end up dead just like Gohan. Trevor focuses hard to form a barrier. Luno notes he is using soul remembrance protection to shield his spirit plane. Luno knows the man is still feeling the pain his nightmares suffered. The agony exhausts Trevor so much he drops to his knees. Nina drops an iceberg on Trevor. The nightmare sees it and breaks the ice with a flame lance. Moxie charges at Trevor. It turns out one of the downed nightmares is still breathing. Moxie rushes Trevor, but a nightmare on the ground grabs him before he can reach their master. Meanwhile, Nina uses ice to freeze the other nightmares in place. Luno is still impressed by the way Yuki handles the battle. A nightmare breaks free and lunges at Yuki. The crowd thinks Yuki is done for as the nightmare's arm reaches for him. Yuki summons his white nightmare, which grabs the blue one by the throat. The crowd is absolutely terrified to see a white nightmare. The creature continues to crush the blue nightmare's throat. Luno is shocked. He wonders how Yuki got a monarch-ranked white nightmare. Shin explains it is the same white nightmare that killed King Bayu. Luna is stunned since that white nightmare was supposed to be dead. Shin says he could not destroy such a strong soul pet. Instead, he forced it into soul packs with dozens of children, and Yuki is the only survivor. Luna stares at Shin like he is a total lunatic. Bruno watches nervously, wondering if the white nightmare will eat the blue one. It drains the blue nightmare of its soul, leaving Trevor in total agony. Joanna calls the fight and names Yuki the winner. The crowd goes wild as Luna cheers for him. Meanwhile, Bruno quietly simmers with rage. The 4 other challengers are just glad they did not have to fight the kid. Joanna asks Yuki how he lost his pet. The boy says his creature defected to the prince. The princess commends him for staying so strong despite everything he has been through. She presents a gauntlet she calls the level 6 soul armor as his reward. The crowd is floored that she would give away such high-ranking gear worth millions of dollars. She hands it to Yuki, who looks just as stunned as everyone else. He drops to one knee inside the Blue Nightmare Palace. Song gripes to his father about how Yuki always manages to escape any punishment. Singer slaps his son in the face. He says he will let his top subordinate handle it. Prince Lawson and the Yang family are going to handle the matter. He smiles like a madman, imagining the Yang family tearing the boy apart. Meanwhile, Yuki and Tina are traveling on winged horses. Tina notices him yawning and suggests they find a place to crash. They land at a hotel and start walking down its halls. They overhear two people talking about needing to help the Chu family. Yuki ducks behind a wall and tries to listen in on their secret conversation. Turk the servant tries to talk his mistress out of helping. He says not to help the Chu family because the Yangs are hunting them. Lana hates the idea of just letting the Niles Chu's trade team get robbed like that. Turk is terrified they will be in big trouble if the Yangs catch them meddling. Turk senses someone nearby and demands that the listeners step out. Yuki and Tina step out. Yuki asks if the Yang family is really going to rob the Chu trade team. Turk calls him disrespectful for eavesdropping on them. Suddenly, Yuki recognizes Lana as the little girl he used to play with back in the day. Yuki asks if she is Lana, but she has no memory of him. Turk gets suspicious that the boy knows her name and wants to interrogate them both. Tina asks for forgiveness, saying Yuki just wants to help the Chu family. Lana asks why she should trust them. Yuki reveals he is from the Chu family and came to Luo City to help his people. Lana and Turk just stare at him with doubt. They do not believe his story. Turk warns Lana that Yuki might actually be a spy for the Yang family. Lana says that while they cannot help the Chu family themselves, they cannot stop others from trying. Yuki asks for the location of the nearest Chu members to warn them. Lana tells him there are no Chu members left in the area. Yuki is totally stunned and worried. If there are no Chu members left in the area, it means the family has truly fallen from grace. Elsewhere the next day, many caravan guards were slain by Genius Yang and his ruthless men. The guard leader tells Niles Chu that he cannot die here. But Niles refuses to leave the valuable goods behind. Seeing an incoming attack, the guard leader shoves Niles out of harm's way. A bolt of thunder zaps the leader and his men, killing them instantly. Niles screams out for his loyal servant Genis as everything falls apart. Bean from the Yang family just smiles at his misery. Niles stands his ground and summons a light rhino soul pet. Bean thinks it is beneath Janice to face the light rhino, so he volunteers. He summons two winged reptilian beasts to end it. Those alien beasts swarm the rhino until it finally collapses. Niles shuts his eyes tight, ready to accept his end. Out of nowhere, the Thunder Dream deer slams that three-eyed beast away. Niles spots the majestic deer and cannot believe help arrived. Then Yuki appears. Niles starts sobbing, realizing it is really his long-lost brother. But their reunion is cut short. Another three-eyed beast lunges at Yuki from behind. Yuki quickly casts his soul technique, hitting the creature with an evil charming spell. It leaves the monster completely paralyzed with fear. While it is stuck, the Thunder Dream Deer rams the creature, seriously wounding it. Genos quickly pulls his soul pet back to the spirit plane to recover. Yuki pulls Niles up. Niles is in tears, thinking his brother was dead. He gives Yuki a massive hug, just so relieved he is back. Genos breaks the moment, threatening to kill them both. Genos looks up and sees two figures. It is Lana and Tina, diving into the fight on their flying soul pets. They touch down right next to Niles and Yuki. Genos summons two more terrifying-looking soul pets. Niles begs his brother to flee, worried the deer cannot handle those powerful creatures. Yuki steps toward the villains and tells his brother that this time he will be the one doing the protecting. Yuki tells Tina to guard Niles while he handles Genos and his monsters. Lana joins the fray as Yuki summons his fairy Nina. Both sides charge forward as Nina leads the way. Nina instantly freezes the ground under the enemy pets. The Thunder Dream Deer blasts the flying beast with energy, knocking it cold. That death scorpion manages to shatter the ice though. Nina traps it behind thick walls of ice. With his pet trapped, Genos recalls it to the soul plane. Then he summons a massive four-winged demon snake that towers over everything on the field. Niles begs Tina to help Yuki fight that massive demon snake. But Yuki tells him he is not that same weak kid from the past anymore. Yuki commands the Thunder Dream and Nina to strike. The deer blasts it with an energy beam while Nina conjures a massive freezing tornado that traps the snake inside. That vortex is actually filled with spinning ice crystals, shredding the serpent from every single angle. It forces Genos to use ice armor, coating his demon snake in a frozen shell. The snake looks like a frozen statue. Nina draws a sword and stabs the shell, but she discovers something very strange. She quickly realizes the armor is empty, she only broke a hollow shell. Suddenly, the snake bursts out of the ground behind Nina. Genos is certain Nina is about to die. The snake gulps Nina down. A second later, it pukes the ice fairy back out. Genos is baffled. Yuki explains that his ice fairy has nearly unbreakable armor, and the snake is just too weak to bite through it. Genos triggers a new move, covering his snake in a coat of toxic smoke. It strikes at Nina, but she casually slashes the venom away. Then she peppers the snake with ice crystals, finally finishing it off. Nina stabs Genos with ice poison before he can even blink. Genos chugs an antifreeze potion to stop the poison's spread, but he sees his death scorpion has already been taken down by the deer. He flees, summoning a massive bird and taking off into the sky. Defeated by Thunder Dream, Janus bolts and summons a giant bird to escape. Yuki hops on Moxie to give chase immediately. Meanwhile, Lana has already wrecked Janus's goons. She is pumped to see the Chu family finally has a powerhouse ally like Yuki on their side. Niles warns Tina that Janus knows this terrain and will vanish if they do not hurry. Lana and Tina agree to hunt him down. Meanwhile, Yuki stays glued to Janus's tail. Moxie hurls fireballs at the flying bird, but the creature manages to dodge every single shot. Moxie leaps so high he actually lands right on top of Janus. He slices into Janus, setting him. Moxie shreds Janus, lighting him and the bird on fire until they are nothing but scorched bits. Yuki and Moxie start celebrating, only to realize they are plummeting right off the edge of a cliff. They hug each other in total terror while falling. Yuki and Moxie crash through the trees before finally slamming hard onto the forest floor. Back on the cliff, the others watch in horror as the two fall. Niles is terrified that they just fell off the legendary Phoenix Cliff. Turk explains that Phoenix Cliff is a notorious death trap crawling with powerful soul pets. Lana promises her flame bird can fly down and save them. She summons the creature and hops on for a rescue mission. Turk yells at her to be incredibly careful down there. Lana spots smoke on the ground and hopes it is from Moxie. Suddenly, a flock of black birds spots her and her soul pet. They attack like a literal flying stampede, knocking her right out of the sky. Turk is panicking for his mistress while Tina just prays both Yuki and Lana are okay. Lana realizes she is falling straight toward a pack of stampeding rhinos. She closes her eyes as one charges right at her. Suddenly, Moxie and Yuki snatch her up just in time. Yuki asks if she is alright. Totally frozen in fear, the girl managed to whisper that she is fine. Moxie is low-key annoyed that Lana is riding along when only Yuki should be allowed. The fox bolts as an entire army of rhinos and birds give chase. Later, Yuki peeks out from the bushes and sees they finally lost the Soulpets. He notices Lana is already asleep on his shoulder and has no idea what to do. Lana eventually wakes up leaning against a massive tree. Yuki notices she is awake and hands her a pile of fruit to snack on. Yuki is hyped because all these advanced rank Soulpets around mean they might find a rare one. Way too dangerous. Lana warns him that trying to tame one is way too risky here. Yuki corrects her, saying it is only dangerous if they actually try to bring it with them. Lana gets so mad she literally crushes the apple she is holding into tiny pieces. They hike deeper into the forest until they stumble upon a trail of pink petals on the ground. Yuki lets a petal fly in the air. He tells Lana the wind shifted suspiciously and thinks a special soul item must be the reason. Because of that, he tells Moxie to scout. Moxie takes off and returns a moment later. The fox is back so fast that Lana thinks he found 0 clues. But Moxie tells Yuki he found something, proving her totally wrong. The fox leads them to a pack of shell-armored felines hanging out by a nearby lake. Lana remembers the armored feline is the true family symbol and thinks they should try to tame one. Yuki snaps back that he only bothers taming high-quality elite soul pets. Instead, he suggests they search the lake for that special item he was talking about. Lana looks closer and spots a sky demon orchid in the middle of the lake. She says that thing is worth a fortune. She wants to go grab it immediately, but Yuki tells her to look again. A 3-headed serpent-like abyss water demon rises from the depths to guard the orchid. The 3-headed demon keeps a very close watch on the rare flower. Yuki admits that this beast is going to be incredibly tough to take down. Lana suggests they just go tame one of the sleeping armored felines instead of fighting. Yuki checks one out and realizes it is way too weak. He tells Moxie to clear out the felines while he moves in. He orders Nina to head out and grab that sky demon orchid. Moxie dashes through the armored felines, knocking them over like bowling pins. Meanwhile, Nina faces the 3-headed demon. Lana offers to help with her own soul pet, but Yuki tells her to stay back. Nina summons a sword and slices right into the demon. The attack causes the 3-headed demon and the entire lake to freeze solid. Nina slices the beast, freezing the 3-headed demon and the lake along with it. However, the demon manages to break free before long. Lana admits that Yuki clearly does not need her help. She turns around and sees Moxie is still brawling with an armored feline. The creature falls, but it scrambles back up and spits a deadly projectile right at Moxie. Moxie swats the incoming attack right away. It slams into a tree, snapping the trunk instead. Moxie deflects the strike, which shatters a nearby tree. The feline then lunges at Moxie, but the fox is too quick and knocks it back. It goes flying into another tree. Still, the creature stands up to face Moxie once again. Lana admires its sheer grit. After it stands back up, Lana is impressed by its spirit. Yuki just smiles, watching the feline with genuine curiosity. Lana asks if he likes the armored feline because of its persistence. Yuki says he actually wants it for a totally different reason. He tells Moxie to wound the beast and the fox slashes. It leaves a deep cut, but the wound heals instantly. Yuki figures out its healing rate is 6 times faster than Moxie's. He orders the fox to keep up the fight just to see if it has any other hidden powers. Nina hands the sky demon orchid to Yuki while Moxie continues to absolutely dominate the armored feline. Yuki is satisfied, seeing the creature has nothing going for it except that insane healing ability. It is actually weaker than most common beasts, so they just leave it behind. Later that night, while everyone is asleep, Moxie wakes up after hearing something creeping closer. It is the armored feline again, lunging at Moxie. but the fox just whips it with its tail, taking it down instantly. The next day, as the group continues trekking through the thick woods, the feline attacks Moxie again, only for the fox to swat it away. It attacks every day, only to come back for another beating. Lana tells the beast to just give up already. Yuki knows it won't quit, so he lets the persistent soul pet follow them. Meanwhile, over at the Yang family castle in Liu City, Mando, the leader of the Yang clan, has just heard from a messenger that Janice and Bean were killed by some mysterious young guy. The messenger says he has no idea who the young man was. He was just lucky to survive by faking his own death. Mando's son, Nero, suggests this might be the same person who has been messing with the Yangs lately. Mando sends the messenger back out to keep an eye on the Chu family for now. Nero thinks the killer might be the new Nightmare Prince everyone is buzzing about. He believes this is the guy who slaughtered the Yangs on Prison Island, and he likely has their stolen treasure in his possession. Mando smiles, sure they can take the Nightmare Prince down. He tells Nero they'll send Lord Yang to handle their enemy, making Nero feel like their problems will be over very soon. Mando asks how his son's third soul pet is doing. Nero says it is almost fully healed up. Mando is annoyed because his son keeps making contracts with random, low-level soul pets. Take that armored feline from the Chu family. Nero argues that he had no idea it would turn out to be so weak. His father consoles him, promising to get him a high-level soul pet very soon. Back at Phoenix Cliff, Lana is exhausted after being stuck in the forest for days on end. Yuki tells her that armored felines have illusion powers, which might be making them walk in circles. Lana starts panicking, saying they are going to die. Because they are trapped in circles, she's convinced they are doomed. Lana starts crying, terrified that she won't make it out. Yuki admits he was just kidding and that he can easily break a forest illusion. This earns him a punch from the frustrated girl. He gets back up and notices another armored feline has appeared, but its armor is way tougher than the others. Yuki summons the tree warrior to catch it. This one has much tougher armor, so Yuki calls out the tree warrior to capture it. The warrior binds the feline tightly with vines until it is trapped in a ball. It breaks out, but the smaller feline appears. That small armored feline following them for days suddenly rams into it. Yuki realizes it wants to take on this enemy feline all by itself. The larger armored feline lunges at the smaller one. The small cat blasts a fire beam at the enemy. The enemy cat counters with a lightning energy beam. The beam is so powerful it causes a huge explosion when it hits the smaller cat. The larger cat gets ready to attack the smaller one while it's down. Lana watches in horror as the bigger cat continues to strike at the little one. Yuki wonders what the bigger cat went through to make it so cruel at Luo City. The three heads of the Chu family meet up with Niles in the Great Hall. Niles tells his grandfather Morley the big news: Yuki is still alive. Morley is shocked. Another leader, Dory, asks Niles if he is absolutely sure. Niles explains that Yuki saved his caravan from the Yangs but then tumbled off Phoenix Cliff. Bridger, the third head, thinks the story is fake. He doesn't believe Yuki is strong enough to beat elite soul masters. It all sounds way too good to be true. Niles holds back his anger. He tells the heads he knows Yuki survived falling off that cliff. Morley turns to his son Bridger. How many men can we send to rescue Yuki? But Bridger objects to the plan. Morley slams his chair down. He tells his son they are saving Yuki regardless of the cost. Bridger begs him to put the Chu family's safety and reputation first. Think of the family first. Both leaders stare each other down in a tense standoff. Morley reluctantly backs down. Niles pleads with the heads to change their minds and help. Bridger snaps at him, saying he has no right to demand anything from them. Niles complains that Bridger was the one who refused to give Yuki guards in the past. That led to his kidnapping. He accuses him of ignoring Yuki now so he won't return. Morley insists that the matter has officially ended for them both. Bridger and Niles go silent. The discussion is over. Both men go quiet as Bridger stands up and brushes past Niles on his way out. He tells Niles he didn't need to lie about Yuki killing Genis just to get them to help. Then, the second Bridger leaves the room. Dory tells Morley he never should have given Bridger this much power within the family. Dory insists that Yuki is his brother's only child and he will save him no matter what. He stands up from his seat and tells Niles they are going to rescue Yuki. Just before Dory leaves, Morley calls for him. Morley hands him the Chu family token and tells him he can use it to gather family guards and leave the city. Use the family token to assemble the guards and leave the city. Morley is finally left all by himself in the Great Hall. He starts to cry, swearing that he will always treat Yuki as his grandson.